So let's see who wants to have a discussion about evolution at 2 a.m. Let's see if there are any individuals out there that have a base understanding of how they got on the planet. And let's also see if we actually understand evolution, which is explaining a genotypic change over time, right? It's a theory that's trying to connect all life forms on the planet together, except for when we look at so-called humans, we don't see the same genetic and biological makeup. We don't see the same embryological origin, right? So let's see. You know, a lot of people come in here and they say that evolution isn't a lie because they believe in religion, right? Some people believe that we were created by God and Adam and Eve, right? So let's see. Welcome in, y'all. All right. Now, I keep it as scientific as possible. You see what I'm saying? I debunk the theory with true science. You see what I'm saying? So if you bring religion, it will be debunked with science. All right, so let's keep it as scientific as possible. But if anybody disagrees with what's on the screen, feel free to request up. If anybody agrees with what's on the screen, feel free to request up. Let's just keep it as scientific as possible. All right. And keep in mind, the picture up here is meant to mislead you, right? The picture is meant to mislead. This is how they teach evolution at the 5th grade level and the 6th grade level in schools. So that's why I have it on the screen like that. But evolution is a genotypic change over time between haploid and diploid cells. All right, and essentially they're trying to say that the so-called black woman is the monkey. They're trying to say that we created these people, essentially, and this is the reason why Eve gene is suggested under evolution. The Eve gene theory, this is the reason why out of Africa is suggested under the theory, right? This is endosymbiotic theory is another one suggested under evolution. So let's just see. Okay, greetings, Leah. Tell me how you feel about the prompt using science.
I was gonna piggyback on what you were saying about people saying that black women are, monkeys and stuff. And I've heard that so many times, and I barely started learning about evolution not too long ago. I've always known about it and everything, but I never really looked into it that much until I learned about people back then, the Neanderthals, and the other species of human. And I don't feel like we're made from animals. I feel like we're just made up from a version of human, And over time we adapted because our brains got bigger and people they have molars or not molars, wisdom teeth because back then we used to use them for meat, but we don't need them anymore, which is why a lot of people they still have them, but they end up getting them taken out,
So I hear what you're saying, but humans or the hominoid species that you're referring to, like Homo neanderthal, Homo sapien, Homo flabbergensis, all of those have introgress genetics with animals. So like when you were saying like you don't feel like we're made up of animals, we're just different types of humans. Well, humanoid means is like becoming a human. It is the process of becoming a human. So Homo sapien originally started with Homo simian, Homo canine, and Homo porcine or Homo possidae. Same tomato. So, and if we're going to have a discussion about humans, we're going to have a discussion about animals. We would also have to have a discussion about introgress animals, introgress microorganisms, introgress plants, introgress insects, because nothing within the human genome, none of these animals naturally find each other attractive for it to be within the human genome to begin with. So the talking point about the molars, because people used to eat meat, people still eat meat, and a lot of YT people and everybody else have a need for raw meat, but that's not the case for BLK people. Because of our gastric enzymes, because of the way that we digest food, we can't do that. Our bodies respond more to sunlight. It's everyone else that has a need for the blood of other organisms to function, because you guys are a horizontally genetic transferable species. So I got you with that. Let me just introduce JJ. You're off the app, JJ. I don't know if you meant to request up, but if you did, go ahead and tell me about how you feel about the prompt using science. And then I'll get back to Leah or Void. JJ, you're on mute. Go ahead, JJ. Okay, so we're gonna be weird now. All right, go ahead, Void.
God bless you. Yep.
Scott McCall.
Hello, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, how do you feel about the prompt using science?
Well, evolution clearly explains this. There are like whole scientists and fields like about this only.
About what?
Evolution.
What part of evolution? What are you referring to?
Like human evolution.
Right. And again, just like I was explaining to her, the evolution of so-called humans is a theory that connects all life forms on the planet. So,
Not necessarily.
but it does. It's talking about how life forms started out as prokaryotes that
Okay.
eventually evolved into eukaryotic cells, which created eukaryotic organisms. So
Okay.
all life forms fall into these two cellular form types.
Well, if this is wrong, if that is wrong, what you just said, then what's right?
Do you agree or disagree with the prompt?
We just here one day, you goof.
Do you agree or disagree with the prompt?
Disagree.
Okay, so
Most
using
human beings
science,
disagree
tell
with that
me
shit.
why you disagree.
Well, because they found evidence of of evolution. The Earth was here like billions of years ago. Human beings weren't there all those billions of years.
Okay, so then how did human beings get on the planet?
We
You're either
evolved.
here through vertical gene transfer or horizontal gene transfer.
I don't know what that
And
is.
these two things are two different pathways to come on the planet. One is biogenetic and one is spontaneous generative. So all life forms that make up the human genome are not natural animals and plants. These organisms have introgress genes like cats and dogs. How did a
What the
cat and a
fuck are
dog
you
find each
talking
other?
about,
All
man?
right. I don't do over talking. You can disagree
Are
with
you
me. You can
stupid
tell
or
me I'm
what?
wrong, but just don't over talk me or you will be removed. 86% of your DNA is shared with cats. 73% of your DNA is shared with dogs. 86% is also shared with bonobo. 98% is shared with chimpanzee. These
Okay.
organisms don't naturally find each other attractive in nature, but they're within the human genome.
Bro,
And one
what?
way for evolution, see, the thing is, y'all keep what? But this is fifth grade science. Y'all have problems with just having a simple conversation. If you think that you just share DNA with monkeys, you don't understand evolution. The human genome y'all have 25 to 30,000 different genes that stem from multiple origins. So if you don't understand that, then you need to go learn your DNA and figure out who you are. Because it's never been proven that so-called black people naturally produce animal proteins and enzymes. We have antigens, but we're not animals. Right, 4,000 years worth of grape added antigens into the bloodstream. Prior to us coming in contact with these people, there was no disease, and there was only one so-called blood type on this planet. All right. So the title of the room, evolution, the biggest lie overtold, no over talking. If you disagree with the prompt, bring science. If you agree with the prompt, bring science. Do not come in here and ask me a question because you need a bone to pick. Okay? Just come in here and tell me how you feel about the prompt using science, please. All right?
Hello.
See, and this is gene expression, the way that only y'all are coming in here and doing this. But go ahead, Angry Nomad, using science. How do you feel about the prompt?
So basically, it's not really a lie because it's been proven that species on this planet go through some sort of evolution based on their environmental stressors. So, all right. So, what made you come to the conclusion that you feel like evolution is like a big lie?
Because the basis of evolution is how haploids turn into diploid cells of another species. And we've never seen that modeled in nature. We've only seen that modeled in vitro and in vivo studies. There is no scientist on the globe to the mega per second that can tell you how haploids turn into diploid cells of another species. Evolution is a theory that is stating that prokaryotes is in existence and eukaryotes are in existence, but no scientist has ever been able to prove the connection between the two cellular form types. That's why. Also, because most of the organisms that make up the human genome is introgressed. Like y'all are not 100% of anything. So it takes more than just looking at it from a fifth grade perspective. It's about a genotypic change over time, not just a change, a genotypic change, right? We can look at everybody outside of so-called black people. Y'all have had thousands of years to get it together, but you're still struggling with the environment that you're mentioning. Y'all still can't biosynthesize the sun. Y'all still struggle with being able to synthesize terrestrial radiation. All right, so if we're all the same people, why don't I have any issues under the sun, but you do? How
This
come every
the thing
single,
is,
how come, hold on for a second. How come every single chromosome that you have is connected to a genetic mutation that is triggered by photocarcinogenesis and UV radiation? Because that's not the case for so-called black people. The issues and the stressors that you're talking about is only a byproduct of synthetic biology taking place or excuse me, the creation of a eukaryotic environment. So the manipulation of ions that are already present within the atmosphere is what triggers these stressors and adds antigens into my people's bloodstream. Plus the food, plus the diet. This is where diseases come from in us. That doesn't mean that this is coming from our DNA, but every single venereal disease is connected to your DNA. So we can see that there are several genetic and biological and anatomical differences between us. If we were the same people, we would be in the same point of evolution, but we're not.
yeah. So, like I was about to say, of course, all black people, they evolved under high UV environments, and as you go north, there's less and less sun. That makes it to where your skin needs to be lighter in order to produce vitamin D. But I heard earlier that you said that Europeans share genetics with like dogs and whatnot. Wait, how'd you come to that conclusion?
The human genome.
But if that was the case, I think um black and white people wouldn't be able to reproduce if they had that much different genetics inside them from animal, like for example, a human can reproduce with a chimpanzee, a human can reproduce with a dog, but white and black people can reproduce with each other. Therefore, they share genetic similarity enough to where they can procreate.
Biologically, YT people and a BLK person are not exchanging DNA on a biological level. They're reproducing with the antigens that are attached to the red blood cell. And prior, when we first came in contact with these people, they wiped out 509 million of our people. If we were the same, that wouldn't have happened. So we do see, even though, yes, people are having children outside of their species, I understand that, but it still invokes ischemia on a biological level. Zoonotic disease transfer is invoked. Hemolytic disease is invoked. And this is why scientists did create the ROGAM shot in the 60s to help blanket the process. And that's not just a process that we see with our people versus other people. We also see that happen when these people try to procreate with themselves on a biological level due to incomplete dominance. Again, they don't just have chimpanzee DNA, it's multiple organisms. So one person, one mother and a man, when they decide to procreate, they have different percentages of animal DNA, unnatural microorganisms, plant and insect DNA found within both of their embryonic origins. So
So
what I
that so
mean
that
by
applies
that
for
is like
like
a
all
YT
races, right?
mother can have 86% of her DNA share with bonobos, but the man she's laying down with can share 86% or 98% with chimpanzee. Biologically, because all of their DNA is recessive, they're not going to be able to make a copy. They're not performing vertical gene transfer, they're performing HGT. So they do need, a lot of them do get blood tests before they have children with each other because of DNA incompatibility. So just because you see something happening doesn't make it natural. There's a lot of genetic mutations. There's a lot of children that are not born healthy because of that. A lot of things don't get talked about. You have to go study these things for yourself, and you can't just rely on American Google. You do have to like research what's taking place in the world. I always advise my people to switch your VPN, see what they're talking about in Russia, see what they're talking about in Sweden, see what they're talking about in China, because they all work together and they censor things. That's the whole point of a VPN in different servers.
So, is there any books would you recommend? Because some of
Yeah.
this information sounds new.
So this is like my fourth TikTok page. My page keeps getting banned. If you go to the search bar and type in Skywatcher, you'll see me with a black heart. All my books, I have like 40, 30 plus books that are pinned on my page. The most important ones are going to be Why Darkness Matters, The Power of Neuromelanin in the Brain, which is written by four of our scientists, Dr. Richard King, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, Dr. T. Owens Moore, and Dr. Ancy Brown. They're all psychiatrists and neuroscientists. They came together to put this information out. That book is heavily sourced. The second book I would recommend is Melanin: What
I
Makes Black
trust a
People Black.
biologist over a
Okay, so
neuroscientist or
everybody
a
that
psych.
I give me a second. He's asking me a question, so let me respond to him out of respect. See, whenever we get into the sources, somebody always wants to overtalk and try to discredit. I can name you up to 20 doctors right now. I'm giving him a starting point. And these 20 doctors are YT, Asian, Dravidian, Mexican, and BLK. Okay, everybody across the world knows that we're not genetically the same species. So give me a second to tell him and then I'll get to you, okay? So Why Darkness Matters is written by four BLK neuroscientists. Melanin: What Makes Black People Black has a complete, like 10 different charts that walk you through the biology and the anatomy of the genetic differences between us and these people. So I'll just leave you with that.
All right. Someone else can talk.
Yep. So I think the next person was Clayton Priest, using science. How do you feel about the prompt?
Uh, I don't have to go next. Someone else can go.
Okay, why are you up here?
Um,
All right, so Connor, using science, how do you feel about the prompt?
I believe that evolution is not a lie because it is shown by multiple studies, because I'm just gonna like share this out. I hit my head not too long ago, so I have a concussion right now, so I might not be saying things right or anything like that, just to let you know. But pretty much humans, they evolved from chimps. So like there's a whole evolutionary line, and scientists proved that we evolved from chimps or monkeys or gorillas, stuff like that. And we come from, as you can tell by the melatonin in our skin, it helps based on so it's a skin color. I'm white personally, I'm Caucasian. We don't take, what is it, trying to think, sunlight, the UV rays. It's easier for us to get sunburns, so that's why it's easier we have like to wear sunscreen more. But let's say if somebody were African American or black, then the melatonin in their skin would be blocking more UV rays based on how they evolved from where they are. Because in Asia, also, since they're super close to the sun, their eyes are squinted or more closed, because that shows that the sun, it could be hurting their eyes. As if I were to go over to Asia or somewhere really high up, then I would, my eyes would be hurting due to the type of sunlight that's coming down. So I believe that we evolved from different ways. Like there's different types of builds humans come with based on how their DNA is. And let's say if you're skinny, there was, I believe, I forgot what it was called, but they used to hunt in like a specific way where they would hunt animals and wait till they would overheat, and then they would go for the kill due to that. So humans evolved to be skinnier.
Right, we gotta say
And then,
unalive instead of KILL.
yeah, I can
F1
say
in the
unalive.
chat. I love TikTok Shop. This TikTok live is for educational purposes only.
Yeah. They would unalive animals after they would get overheated, and pretty much after that, that's how they would get our food. So based on the builds that we evolved with is based on how we are. So let's say if you have a more skinny build, then you would be able to have more stamina, but it's also based on how you train your body. So evolution always comes with like how your DNA is, and it's also proven.
So then why are y'all still struggling with adapting to the environment?
Adapting to the environment, because I believe that we haven't evolved far enough. Because in science, it's shown that the perfect body, your head is like pushed down because of the gravity, all this extra stuff. I can't really describe it, but if you go on Google or Safari or whatever website you like to use, the scientists, like, they were proving that the perfect body to have as a human, like really forgot how it worked, but your head was like pushed down because like how the gravity is, your eyes were squinted and everything. So no, evolution, we haven't evolved far enough, but we evolved to this point as to where we evolved from how we were hunting and how like we got to society today. But it's your turn to talk.
So you're talking about hunting and all these different things, but the thing is that so-called humans have introgress genetics. Y'all don't come from natural biogenetic processes. Your DNA is a conglomeration and a byproduct of spontaneous generation. Y'all were on all fours with hypertrichosis, vestigial tails, unable to speak and reproduce like 4,000 to 6,000 years ago, genetically. So I don't understand. Like I think y'all are listening to what the scientists are theorizing about evolution instead of actually looking at genetics. Like someone in the comments is saying, oh, genetics doesn't tell the truth. Evolution is about a genotypic change over time. In order for you to get to the point to where you are today, you have to discuss your genetics. You have to give me the cell. You have to be able to talk about the biochemical substance. And the truth of the matter is, your melanin is non-sufficient for the environment that you're trying to be a part of. Everything about the nucleoid region, from the histones, from the mitochondria, homeobox genes, your retrotransposons, nothing is working in unison with itself for y'all to even be here. Y'all's chromosomes are held together by in vitro neuromelanin, and it's non-congenital for you at that. So we're not the same species, and we can see that phenotypically. Like, we don't have the same genetics. So what you're saying can't be true for everyone. All right, I got you with that. But let me get to Mr. Elevators. Go
Hey,
ahead.
yes. Honestly, I just want to start off like, hey, I came to be educated. I took a class, bones, stones, and human evolution, and I didn't agree with it. But in order to pass it, I had to, just take the information and give it back. But it's a series of different, like, fossils that they believe were once like ancestors of humans, and the way they come up with these theories are so dubious. It's comical. So I just wanted to ask you, well, what do you think is the? I mean, like, what do you believe, in your opinion, is the truth? Because I don't believe that evolution can stand. Like, the information that they give us is, it's like, what can I say? It's like it's seen from one side, and it's not really accurate at all, to be honest.
Well, most scientists, most cell biologists and evolutionary biologists do not agree on evolution. But what most scientists can come to the consensus to, and the thing that makes the most sense, is genetic engineering and introgression. And when it comes to the eukaryotic cell, the origin of that comes into existence about 600,000 years ago. The viruses like the Mimi virus, which is basically the predecessor to the eukaryotic cell, comes into fruition about 1.5 billion years ago. So genetic engineering has been taking place on this planet more than scientists openly want to admit, but some of them do. Some of them tried their best because carbon dating only stretches back 40,000 years to begin with. So there is depicted in stone, which prior to like paper documentation, the only way we could record data is to leave it in stone. And so the Sumerian text is their oldest text that actually talks about a story or an entity that is splicing DNA. So in religion, you see the story of Noah's Ark, the rounding up of two animals. And you also see this same sort of story depicted in the Sumerian text with the rounding up of two animals. And in the next part of the text, it's a completely different organism that was genetically or anatomically matches them, being on all fours with hypertrichosis. Again, that's genetically and biologically proven to have happened 4 to 6,000 years ago, and that's the only text that aligns with their genetics. So a lot of people don't want to believe that there are other intelligent life forms that exist, but the scientists know about it, they talk about it, they prove it several times over, because all of our petroglyphs, all of our megalithic structures, all of our pyramids have been infiltrated. They now call them ruins because they were ruined by these people. And the only text that is not ruined, that's still intact, that you can see clear as day is the Sumerian text. The entity that is depicted in there is the only stone across the world that's not messed with or tampered with. So there has to be some sort of connection, and scientists have to visit it because, again, their genetics doesn't align with history. And that's the number one thing. If you sit down with the evolutionary documentary, they're going to tell you nothing about the timeline with these people makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is introgression. And that would have to be the case for these people to have in vitro pheomelanin, eumelanin, and neuromelanin. Those are lab or synthetic melanins. So they don't have the same melanin as animals in nature. They have the same animals as introgressed animals, or excuse me, the same melanin as introgressed animals. So that's my response to that. Did you want to add anything else before I move on to the next
No,
guest?
that was perfect. Thank you.
Got you. Let's see. I think it was Alex Phillips. Using science, tell me how you feel about the prompt.
Yo, what's up, guys? Surprised that it went straight to me, but I think that you're right on the money, and I just wanted to focus in. Somebody said that black and white was just social hierarchies. Absolutely, I'm pretty sure we all know that. And I'm wondering, how did you learn about all of this stuff? Like, were you looking this stuff up, or did you have to read books about it? I'm wondering, how did the universe supply you with that info?
Well, number one, when I look at your people, I can see that there's a phenotypic difference. There has to be a genetic explanation for that. So I study the genetic, the biological, the anatomical and physiological and embryological differences between all people. And what checks out is the fact that our people are the only people whose DNA is connected to this globe and no one else is. So you would have to keep going down the rabbit hole and study. I study all branches of science. So not just genetics in every branch of science that I just named, but also climatology, because evolution is talking about the climate, chronobiology as well, earth science, planets, cosmos, the universe in general, quantum science, quantum mechanics and physics, classical mechanics, all of it connects and is explaining the existence of everything. So you would have to study that to have a base understanding of what's supposed to be here and what's not. So let me ask you, how do you think you got on the planet?
It depends on if we're focusing on the third dimension, if you think that we're just the bodies, but I know who I am. So my suggestion is that my soul chose to incarnate to have an experience, but you know, we're all open to being different, I guess. That's what allows us to experience in the first place. If we were all just the same thing, it'd be pretty boring. So I wondered, let me ask you now, is this a form of superiority? Like, are you trying to maybe claim superiority, the nine ether beings versus the six ether? Or,
So I asked you a
how does that?
question. I asked you a simple question. I said, how did you think you got on the planet? And you didn't really answer it. And now you're
Oh, did I
asking me a
not?
question again, and then you're bringing superiority into it. I didn't say anything about nine versus six ether. We just been talking about the genetic differences. And your physical body is connected across all planes, if that's what you choose to believe. But non-etheric consciousness or neuromelanin is the core of consciousness, and that is proven by YT scientists, so-called Asian, Mexican, Dravidian, and BOK scientists. And that's something that can't be debunked, and that's something that is widely agreed upon, that neuromelanin is the fabric of the universe. It is found in the biosphere, the ionosphere. It is amorphous, and it is a ubiquitous particle, and only we possess that. And that is also explained through the phenomenon of Higgs boson, right? These are all your scientists. So when you're saying bringing superiority in that, how could it be superiority when we're just having a discussion about cells, molecules, tissues, biochemical substances, embryology, and genetics, right? This is not, I don't talk about race, because you're not your race, you're your biology and your DNA. And so if you hear this and you think, oh, you're more superior than me, then that's your brain. That's your frontal lobe. And there's a genetic explanation as to why you would hear this information and think that way, because your psyche is what's connected to your DNA. It's directly linked. Your body is built around your brain. All right. So I never said anything about me being superior. I just said that my genetics, I can prove down to the atom how I'm connected to this planet and how each and every last one of my people are. That just happens to not be the case for you and everybody outside of us, because y'all break down to calcium ionospheres. I mean, you're talking about the physical body, but the physical body is equally connected to your etheric body, and y'all don't have a morphic field. Your own scientists, your own counterparts are saying we lack a morphic field. So why would you make it about what I'm saying when I keep bringing you back to science? I don't understand that. Hello? Do you want to respond or no? You good?
Yeah, I didn't realize that you had muted, but let me refocus because I was speaking, and I'm not sure if we just had miscommunication, if you misheard or something, but
No, I heard
let me
you.
reiterate myself. I don't mind repeating it. Originally, I just had asked the question to kind of grasp where you were coming from, and then I did answer the question by suggesting that I know who I am. I am that I am. I'm just a soul that chose to incarnate in the physical. So even though I'm having this experience through this physical body, that's not who I am. I
So
mean, if
that's
you
what
want to
I'm
identify,
confused about. How do
if you want
you
to
have a
identify with,
soul when you can't
okay.
take the sun and the core of
So
consciousness
are you going to allow
is
me to finish, darling?
neuromelanin? No, you already said everything. You just say you're getting ready to reiterate, and I told you in response. I understand you. I heard everything that you're saying. Right? You don't have to repeat yourself, and I understood you. The thing is, the scientific explanation for soul is neuromelanin. I'm sitting next to all 6 of my books about this right now. Right. And your scientists and your politicians have backed up 3 of the scientists I'm sitting next to, and they're BOK. Your politicians. Okay. So I'm not the one saying this. I'm just the one bringing you the information that can't be debunked. The soul is neuromelanin, which is the only biochemical substance that can condense sunlight and is condensed sunlight. If this is you and your PFP, I can tell by your phenotypic expression that you undergo issues when it comes to the sun. So how can you possess a soul when you're composed of in vitro neuromelanin? You have introgress genetics, and you can't take, when I say take, biosynthesize not only solar radiation, right? You're talking about the soul, right? Solar radiation and terrestrial radiation. If you struggle with doing those things, how are you a non-etheric conscious being? I don't understand that. You don't
So
have the
again,
core of consciousness.
is this about trying to measure out the hierarchy of some type of
So
superiority?
you see it, guys? You see it? See, even that, like playing little games like that is their genotypic expression. It's almost 3 a.m. my time. I'm on TikTok, just having a discussion about evolution. He came in here talking about the different astral bodies and shit like that. And I asked him, how did you get on the planet? Notice he never answered my question. Then he's making it about superiority. If you have to talk about superiority, that equally means that you think that you are inferior. I don't talk about YT supremacy because I don't think anybody is supreme over me. And then I have the science to back that up. That's not even me being boastful or egotistical. That's gene expression. See, y'all want us to be the same. As long as y'all are calling yourselves monkeys and we're doing it too, you're okay. But the moment we start talking about the genetic and the bio, oh, you think you're better than me? You think you're superior? What is science saying? Stop playing with me. What is our phenotype saying? When you look at me, what do you actually see? Do you see that we're the same organism? So why would you ask me that? All right. So I think it was 918 Indian. Go ahead. Using science, tell me how you feel about the prompt.
I feel like before they became, because it started on the far left as one of them the originals, but as they came that color, you can slightly tell that you can like see different color type of people mixed in before they got to the YT. So I'm saying it's a lot of people that think they don't come from the same thing, but they do, as in YT.
I don't understand where you're coming from, my brother. I apologize.
Like the Mexicans, the so-called Mexicans and natives, they all
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
everybody outside of us is a different species. Genetically, Asians are first, Dravidians are second, and from the Dravidian albino is how they created the YT man. So that's the original 3 within the genus. Everybody
yeah,
else is a byproduct of us involuntary and voluntary mixing with them over time. I got you.
yeah. That's how I feel about it. I feel like they just don't like they thinking that they the only ones, but it's so cold of a fact that it's people that's next to them too. The thing we talking about them, we talking about a lot of other people that's with them that can prove what we saying.
Okay, I'm not really sure what you mean by people,
Like they
but
like when they come to America, they'll separate. They'll call themselves YT or someone call themselves uh different, like Europeans or Russians when they all the same.
so how do you think these people got on the planet?
I think it wasn't natural. I mean, no, that's not happening. They didn't get her naturally.
She's saying that they was
Okay,
created.
I got
Yeah.
you. I'm not saying anything. I was
I mean,
just asking
I
him.
just don't want to mess your live up because I can get real, but I'm just saying though they didn't get on this planet. Somebody did something and brought them to this planet.
Genetic engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you say somebody who, that's not gonna flag the live. What'll flag the live is if you say the K word, DIE,
No,
and
I
you
would say
start
like
talking about
I
body
would say a
parts,
civilization.
BOMBSs, but not
It
that.
was a civilization that I think that did it. I just don't know, but I think it was an advanced civilization that a lot of people know. It won't be a name that nobody know about.
Yeah, the name is what keeps changing. Pendar, Moloch, the Dragon King, Gilgamesh, Enki and Enlil, Zeus, Jesus, God, Moloch, Pendar. The name is what keeps changing, but it's the same story
Yeah.
of an entity splicing. So I got you with that. Thank you for sharing that, my brother. You can stay right here. I'm just going to introduce Kieran because they are very eager to speak. Go ahead. Thank you for your
Hello,
patience,
hello, yes.
Kieran. Go ahead. Using
Hello.
science, how do you feel about the prompt?
The prompt. Well, I think you're out on third base, and it's a bunch of rubbish.
Using science, explain yourself, please.
Well, what you're basically doing is you're taking a hypothetical, and it's pseudoscience. It's just rubbish. I mean, you have no basic fact. All you have is a theory, darling.
Using science, tell me how you feel about the
Yeah,
prompt.
and what science is that? And who wrote that book? I mean, it's just a bunch of rubbish, for
What is
God's
true to
sake.
you then? Just tell me what's true in your words.
Well, if that's your reality and you're living in a little bubble, I mean,
Gen expression, y'all see it? Underdeveloped frontal lobe. They have problems with comprehension and focusing on one thing at a time. And the thing is, I'm still stuck on the boy saying that he has a soul because the pineal gland is what's responsible for creating neuromelanin. And they're born with their pineal glands calcified at birth. So that means that you're never producing that substance for it to express on an etheric level. And then you have this guy. It doesn't sound like he has enough teeth in his mouth, talking about rubbish but can't explain it. So these people just don't like hearing the truth. They don't, again, they want us to be animals with them. And the moment we say that we're not, it's so-called rubbish. Well, tell me what's true then. And then they struggle with telling you that. You see what I'm saying? Science is the study of the natural world, y'all. We're able to pinpoint what's natural from, or we're able to pinpoint what is unnatural from what is. So let's not get caught up. Yeah, scientists lie, just like historians do. But if you have a base understanding of what things are and the functionality of whatever it is, they can call anything anything. That doesn't change how that organism functions. They can call us black, Indian, pink, purple, blue. How do our cells functions and how do we phenotypically present? All right. So I think it was Marquise. Go ahead. Using science, tell me how you feel about the prompt.
Um, First I want to say, I respect you a lot. I learned a decent amount of information from you, and I respect how you keep coming back after they keep banning you and stuff like that. And I wanted to say that I feel like the white people, they came from like, I'm not gonna say I feel like a civilization, but a civilization we can't perceive, and they probably broke into this civilization and they probably try to splice some stuff with our or with our DNA, with our black people DNA, and they realize they can't really fully copy the genetic makeup, so they start splicing stuff together. And yeah, I feel like that's how they came about.
Yeah, gratitude, my brother, for sharing that. Yeah, I'm about tired of making these TikTok pages, but I do want our people to, hear this information because it's our genetic truth. So gratitude for that. Yeah, they are a byproduct of genetic engineering and introgression, and they keep getting genetically engineered over time. As a matter of fact, a lot of these people will admit openly. You can watch documentary after documentary after documentary. A lot of
Right.
these people got abducted in the 80s, and they will tell you that they get dreams or like daydreams, like different visions of them being genetically engineered and seeing like, you know, other humanoid type species.
Right.
So whether people want to believe it or not, the information is there. It's in the CIA files. I don't know, is it they released this information in the Epstein files? They talk about it in their books. If you actually
Right.
sit and listen to what the scientists are saying, they're saying this. They're
Right.
saying this, that the only explanation would be genetic engineering, because according to what they're saying in evolution, that they would not be where they're at right now if it was just for evolution.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, what's it called? I feel like they're having visions when they say they get abducted by aliens. I feel like they just having visions of them of their past being worked on, or their genetics, or them being engineered on. I feel like that's like a like it's like a you know how like we have like a gen like we have things we do genetically, and like we remember stuff. You know, black people remember stuff. You know, we get like deja vu. We get a feeling stuff gonna happen before it happened. I feel like it's like they intuition just like kind of reminds them like who they is when it comes to that.
Yeah, I got you with that. Thank you for sharing that, my brother. Yeah, it's definitely that. Let me get to Roger Stanley and then Namas. Roger Stanley, using science, how do you feel about the prompt? Roger Stanley, you're on mute. All right, it might be an accident. Namas, using science, how do you feel about the prompt?
Well, we have 33 vertebrae, and when you go for a walk and exercise, you push your kundalini energy up the cerebral spinal fluid, up the vertebrae, refreshing your brain, which also has its own kundalini spiritual. It's called your second wind in sports. And by holding on to your seed, but also
Let's talk
expressing.
about the prompt. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
Yeah, I'm trying to explain biologically what has happened to me by expressing myself.
But evolution, though,
Yeah,
is a theory that is trying to connect all life forms. So even outside of you, how does what you're saying correlate to all life forms on the planet?
well, the oneness that science can't explain, but the oneness is control of the masculine, and the zero is the feminine. So if you balance the masculine and feminine in your mind, the two hemispheres of your brain, you become enlightened.
So you're talking about the rise of the Kundalini energy, but that is a pigmented, a jet black substance that sits not just at the base of your spine. It's actually found within the 12 clusters or melanin clusters within our body. And again, y'all don't have this. Y'all barely are sitting at 3, and some of y'all stretch to 6. But these clusters of energy is not neuromelanin. So your Kundalini is in vitro. It's
Well,
lab
the
made, it's
light that
synthetic. It's not the same thing that we have. That's
well, the light
y'all don't even have that,
the
because that is
light that
basically
you
UV light. You can't take the
yeah.
light
So
that's coming from the sun. That's why y'all undergo acute
well,
body radiation.
Well, when your skin is exposed to the light and your eyes take the light in and you give it out, that's energy in creation. And so when you are aware of saying hello to someone and smiling at them and observing the world, you're being in the moment, raising all this scientific energy that you're talking about.
How did you get on the planet?
God put me here.
Okay, so you see where I'm going with this chat? You see what I'm talking about?
Well, my
So
mother and
no,
father
hold
created.
on for a second. But I want the chat to see something. I keep asking these people how they got on the planet using science, and they are not bringing it. So the thing is, when you say God, are you referring to the Christian faith? Namis, you're on mute.
There's only one God, I think. So I observe all religions.
Our religions don't call the deity God. They don't refer to him as God. So I got you with that. So you basically said, yes, you're talking about God, right? And God created
Of
Adam and
course.
Eve, correct?
I think everything is conscious, everything
Wait,
is
hold on
light,
for a second.
everything is matter.
God created Adam and Eve, correct?
I think something created, like nothing came out of nothing. One
I
created out
just want
of.
to ask you this one last time. Do you believe that God created Adam and Eve? Is this the faith
I
that you
have no
believe in?
belief.
I'm just trying to get a clarifying question. Like, I'm just trying to clarify this with a question.
It's an inner knowing. I don't believe anything to know that.
Okay, so you see, this is gene expression.
All right, this
All
is
right,
Rob.
so Roger Stanley, using
Yeah.
science, tell me how you feel about the prompt.
About what?
Using science, tell me how you feel about the prompt.
What is the prompt?
This is gene expression. I'm at a loss for words. I'm come clean. Like, what the is going on in here, man? I'm asking these people how they got on the planet and they don't even know, yet we're living it. These are the people that's at the grocery store with you. These are people that you work with. These are people that's in the same society as you, walking and living amongst you and don't even know how they got here. Like, what the hell? Like, they don't even know how they got here. And the scientists, and now look at Namas in the chat. So if you know, tell us. Why? You see what? Why would you request up to tell everybody when you didn't answer my question, bro? I asked you a question like 5 times and you didn't answer. And now you're telling me to tell you. Child, I'm telling you, it's something wrong with these people. 75 Dundada, you keep saying parthenogenesis. Are you insinuating that these people come through they come through parthenogenesis? Because parthenogenesis is biogenesis. Okay, so this is a mess, y'all. Evolution is the biggest lie ever told because we have never been able to observe haploids turn into diploids of another species, meaning that one species only creates that of its own. How well you can adapt to the environment is based off of your DNA and your genetics. If your DNA and your embryological origin is a byproduct of genetic engineering, you are not natural. That means cauliflower and kale is unnatural to this planet. Potatoes are unnatural to this planet. Houseflies, ticks, lice, and fleas are unnatural to this planet. These people are unnatural to this planet. Just because they were found at the caves does not mean that they share genetic and biological ties to where they were found. They just showed up there. All right. So I don't know. These other people can't explain how they got on the planet, but we can. We come from the stars. And that's not no black girl magic type shit either. That's real science. Atoms will eventually turn into cells. You see what I'm saying? Atom to molecule to cell to tissue to organ. Organ systems create the organism that you are. As an organism, you make up a population. So again, that of its own will continue to be unless something unnatural takes place. And our cells do not allow for genetic engineering. Daniel Silverman and John Biggerstaff is a cell biologist. He literally explained the morphic field does not allow for genetic engineering and penetration. And he's one of many. Most cell biologists will tell you that you cannot splice a black person's cells because you need electroporation to do so. You need light, magnetofection, transfection, cell sonication, sonoporation, racemization to penetrate cells, right? On my main page, you will see a book that's written by Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. It's called Morphic Resonance. That right there, morphology and morphic resonance is the study of the soul. Neuromelanin is that. The resonance that neuromelanin vibrates at is the morphic field that it has. So this is why you say, I don't really know. I wasn't really fucking with her today because her vibe or her vibration was off. That's because we are ancient readers of energy. That's our energetic code. That's how the planet speaks to us. That's how we speak to each other, right? When the hormones that you naturally create is a chemical message, it is a biochemical message that is being sent to the person that's sitting next to you, or between mother and child, or between a man and a woman, or two friends, or whatever the case is. Because this planet and the cosmos, it only understands energy. And the thing is that when these YT people and shit, when they try to go ground, Earth doesn't know them. And we can see this modeled through even just a Schumann resonance. Like, these people be having Schumann resonances in their house. Especially the people that are into geology. They have like little, just like you have a phone, they keep a Schumann resonance tool in their house. Just like people have a UV reader or a compass. You see what I'm saying? Those distress signals that are being sent out by their body, the Earth is reading that back like, what the fuck? And you can see it modeled on the scale. But when we connect with Earth, you see huge, large surges of energy and her responding back through morphic resonance, okay? That's how you know that we're genetically and energetically connected to this planet as well. So this is why you'll be walking and you see dandelions sprout, or you'll see different mint species or ginkgo trees or fresh berry bushes and stuff, because Earth is saying, based off of the energetic frequencies and the vibrations you sent out, this is what will heal your nervous system, right? The ionosphere has positive or, is positively charged. Protons are found abundantly in the ionosphere, which is masculine energy, right? And then you think of Earth, which has the negative ionic charge, right? And when you ground, the positive meets the negative and creates a neutral, basically a neutrality within your energy or throughout the central nervous system. And this is where healing actually begins to take place, right? So Dr. Nancy Brown, which is a sister, right? She's very well versed in embryology, anatomy, biology, but also chordate morphology. And she has a documentary where she talks about our people are needed on this planet to keep the earth in homeostasis. This is why we see these people be so fucking destructive, because nothing about their DNA, their genetics, their biology is working in harmonic convergence within them or within nature. We can see that even through retrotransposons, the jumping genes. Their genes jump and eject themselves at a different points of their DNA sequence and insert themselves at a different part of their DNA. That's why they do shit that they can't explain. That's why they're impulsive people, right? So we not the same as these people, right? From micro to macrocosm, it's not just, oh, it's just a different skin color. Nope. Because what makes up your skin is a biochemical substance. It's not just a discussion of darker versus lighter. It's about the type of melanin that you have, because there are 10 plus types of melanin, right? And Dr. Layla, in one of his books, he has a chart of the different melanin classifications, right? A lot of people say that the Mexicans are us. No, they're not. In our substantia nigra and through all the 12 energetic signatures, or it's 12 energetic points throughout our body, you see jet black substances. Our substantia nigra is the only people on this planet where you're going to see jet black from micro to macrocosm, from top to bottom. That's the reason why they was calling us black, right? A lot of people say, oh, I'm a copper colored Indian, but what makes you phenotypically present like that is a jet black substance. All right. And these, when it comes to the Mexicans, their biochemistry, that pigment is brown or black brown. Our pigment is black or blue black. So how could they be us? We never see it align even on a biochemical level. Just because they have black does not mean that the full polymerized chain is going to give you our neuromelanin. All right. And that's why you will hear people say they have us in them, but we don't have them in us. That's the actual scientific explanation, is that it's a different type of melanin. All right. So I think it was Future Leak. I seen you requested up. Tell me how you feel about the prompt using science.
Yes, I'm coming back. So I have my other account on here. I'm coming back because I wanted to let you know that before you had mentioned you came from the.
So thanks for letting me know that you came back on a different account. Like, what the hell? So I'm going to just take you off the panel, bro. Why would you come back on another account? Again, gene expression. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck would you? And this is people that just want to center themselves. Mr. Elevators, did you want to say something?
Yeah, real quick. So when you say gene expression, is that the like creating of the proteins and or like cell dividing, or you know what I'm saying, the creating of a new cell, gene expression, or is you referring to pheno expression, which is when you can observe a distinction?
So they're the same thing. So, okay, so your phenotype is expressing your genes. Like, what we see physically is letting us know what's taking place within the genome. So when I say gene expression, I'm talking about behavior or anything that is seen. Pheno means to show or showing. So anything that we see, so eyes, lips, hair, physical characteristics. But what people leave out in that list, the last in that list, is behavior. So how people behave is directly connected to their DNA, because everything that's regulating your thoughts is based off of the melanin. Melanin is found in the nucleus region within their cells, and with us is found in the nucleoid region, and it's the morphic resonance of the cell, or the morphology of the cell, morphogenetic field, right? So I say gene expression, I'm saying they just expressing their DNA. They just showing their ass. They just
Gotcha.
acting like the animals that they're composed of, right? So future, let me see, 918, did you have something you wanted to add? You're on mute. 918 Indian, did you have something else you wanted to add? Maybe not. So Future League, I don't even know what you saying for real, but since it's nobody else in the request box, have at it. Like, what are you trying to say?
All right, I'm back. Now listen, I think that you're doing a great job by teaching a lot of us what's going on with melanin. I think it's great that you can notice the differences. But I also think that there's probably a lot of projection that's coming out, maybe a lot of trauma, stuff that, things you may not have been able to work through quite yet, and you just want to put the projection onto someone else, which I think is just a perpetual cycle. And we can't really heal if you just continuously think about everyone in a third dimensional reality where you measure them up by the size of their body or the color of their skin instead of recognizing them as a soul on a soul level. And before you had mentioned the stars, I just wanted to, if you scroll back through the comments, you'll see I know exactly where I came from. It was a star portal, and that's exactly where I'll go back through. But my issue is that it seems as though you're trying to suggest someone who has an experience from their perception is incorrect because from your perception, you know more than them. And it doesn't make sense. There's no such thing really as fact because facts are just agreed upon perceptions. Like, really, what is a fact? We all factually agree that money exists and that it is useful, but at the same time, I could say money is fake, and you all know exactly what I mean.
So what do you want to talk about? If you don't want to talk about the 3D, what dimension do you want to talk about?
I'm just curious to know if you recognize that white tea skin color can still inhabit, the soul can still inhabit these types of bodies,
Give me the
and that it
science
shouldn't,
behind that, please.
determine okay, let me try to prove that a soul can inhabit a body.
No, your body specifically, because everybody else's DNA is different. So tell me how you have a soul, how your people have a soul, because you said YT. You haven't talked about nobody else in the on the planet. So
When you say your people, I'm curious, what does that mean?
didn't you just say you were YT?
Yeah, so then now you're
Okay, so I'm
classifying
talking
all of them?
about you. So go ahead and give me the explanation on the soul.
Are you familiar with the term racism?
Give me the explanation on the soul.
The soul, that would be my energy force, the conscious awareness that is inhabiting the body. Like, I
And where do you get
recognize
consciousness from?
from being connected to the infinite source that is everything, which
And
I'm not sure
what's
what
your
you're.
connection? What's your energetic connection, your atomic connection?
Here's in simple form, I would just suggest that it's like I'm a drop of water from an infinite vast ocean. And I don't think that you can really, being here in the third dimension, you can't really call yourself God itself, but you are a fractal of that thing. So you're part of it, but you're not completely that thing yet.
So when you're talking about water, water is composed of molecules, right? And again, atoms turn into
Yep.
molecules, which turns into cells, which create tissues. So again, your who you are across all planes is still going to show up in your biology because all dimensions are connected because everything is simultaneous. We can see this expressed through quantum entanglement that one atom at this part of the universe is directly connected to a different particle in another part of the universe. They are equally connected. Everything is past, present, and future at once. So
Of course,
again,
I agree with you.
so when it comes to your analogy of molecules,
But do you
are
recognize this thing that
if
for
you
every
overtalk
action,
me
there's.
again, well, I'm gonna take you off the panel and move on because really this is BS. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. So I'm gonna ask you this: do you actually know the molecular structure and the chemistry behind who you are to still explain how you have a soul? Because I do. I can explain mine. I can give you starting with the atom.
Listen, I didn't think that you can even actually prove something like that, which is
Oh,
interesting. You can,
so then if you
but
don't think that you can prove something like that, then you don't understand how you are conscious. Thanks for playing. You just told me I don't think you can prove consciousness, but you're a conscious being. I never negated that you weren't a conscious being. I just said that your consciousness only goes as high as the animals that you're composed of. And my people don't naturally produce animal proteins or enzymes. And we don't have the same protein synthesis as you to even end up with that shit at all. At any point in time, so-called history or evolution, it's never been biologically or genetically proven. And I asked you, And I kept asking you, and you kept going, and then you get to the point where, I didn't know you could do that. To not know is to not be conscious and to not be aware. So you don't have the consciousness or the awareness on that, yet you choose to speak. Like, all right, y'all. So, yeah, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? I haven't heard anybody come in here and really give science. Like when it comes to the YT people, they can't explain how they got here. You're saying that you don't need to project this, but you keep requesting up, and you're in here, and you keep trying to center yourself in the live. You keep trying to center yourself. All right. Let's see. Somebody said Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. Can you tell Jesus to save the 800,000 children that are going missing? Can you tell Jesus to tell the people to stop experimenting on our children in underground facilities, please? Can you tell Jesus that we're tired of paying for water and that we're tired of paying for food? Can you tell Jesus that there's a species down here that's playing him? Can you also tell Jesus that the people that he created, that he's saying is natural, can't take the natural sun? Jeffrey Chaucer, go ahead using science. Jeffrey.
Okay, sorry. I was having trouble getting it unmuted. Uh, yeah. I think evolution is part of, biological diversity. You got a natural terrestrial realm, and these animals are utilizing resources and developing and evolving to live within that, terrestrial realm. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, it was the aliens or God or whatever, the consciousness of the humanity radically changed everything. And now we're like messing with everything, kind of like we're God, but we're not. And we're like fucking shit up. But, that's what we're doing. We're human beings. And yeah, the universe will fucking set itself back to the homeostatic model that it always goes to. And Earth, I think, has the atmospheric capability to withstand, nuclear holocaust. So, there you go. That's what I say.
Okay, I didn't really understand anything that you said. So do you agree with the prompt or not?
What? You didn't understand anything I just said.
Because you're talking in circles.
In circles.
Do you agree or disagree with the prompt?
Evolution, the biggest lie ever told? No. I think evolution is happening in nature, absolutely. And it's not a lie. It's not the biggest lie ever told either. So, yeah, there you go.
Amongst what organisms?
Oh, fucking all of them.
So cats are evolving?
Dude, everything's evolving all the time.
Can you explain it? Can you explain it?
Yeah, it's a way to learn to survive, and you base your behaviors and your, stuff to, ensure that survival, and that gets learned to the next generation. And it's like that with plants and animals, not minerals per se, but yeah, plants and animals for sure.
So why are y'all still undergoing issues under the sun?
Undergoing issues? What do you mean?
Photocarcinogenesis, genetic mutations, sunburn, first degree and second degree, acute body radiation, the fact
Yeah,
that every single last one of your chromosomes is connected to a genetic mutation in animal
sure,
DNA. So how come
sure,
that's only
yeah.
the truth, the case for y'all and not for my people? Why are you
What do you
still undergoing
what do
issues
you
under the
mean, my
sun?
people? What are you talking about?
Why are
My
YT
people.
people and everybody else still getting sunburnt and having other medical complications under the sun?
Because they're from an area that didn't get as much sun.
So in evolution, it talks about a theory that is this title out of Africa theory, right? It's saying that everybody started out in Africa and then migrated into a colder region, right? And this is what you
I
believe,
thought
right?
Iraq actually was the cradle of civilization. But all right,
And then where did
whatever.
y'all migrate from there, from Iraq? Where did y'all go from there?
You're asking me where my ancestors went from Iraq. What? How long ago? 2,000 years ago?
No, I'm saying that if out of Africa is not true and Iraq is the case, then where would you guys have migrated towards?
Dude, how long ago are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Do
Like,
you understand
you're,
evolution or not?
I'm European, but like Scottish, German, English, that kind of shit, right?
So in evolution, it's
So I'm
stating that
white.
people were
So
near the.
I do get burned if
I got you with that. Evolution is stating one of the theories suggested under evolution is the out of Africa theory. They're saying that people migrated from Africa into a colder region like Europe. Okay, so the thing is that regardless how you spin that, scientists have a consensus that they agree upon that the cradle of civilization is in Africa, right? I don't agree with that, but they're saying that, right? And that your people specifically migrated to a colder region like Europe. How come in your evolution theory, the scientists that look like you and the majority of your people that agree with evolution are not paying attention to the fact that y'all are talking about migrating away from the sun? Do you understand that? That your whole evolution theory is talking about how you went away from the sun? And you just admitted out of your mouth that you get sunburnt. I'm in my 20s. Matter of fact, today is my so-called solar return. I have never been sunburnt in my life. And I'm low-key, like, I've never had any complication under the sun. I only struggled under the sun when I was eating sugar, processed foods, meats, chips and shit. But I've been vegan and alkaline vegan for almost 4 years or 4+ years. And I was out in the sun today for about 5 hours.
okay, will you listen to me for one moment? I'm just wondering,
Can you answer my question?
what is it?
See, you know what, y'all?
What, dude? You went on a huge
Yeah,
tirade.
because you know what? It's not huge to neuromelanated people. It's not huge because our frontal lobes can handle it. We
You
don't have
just went on
issues
a
with
big
comprehension like
tirade.
y'all do.
Tirade.
So here's the thing.
Tirade. Tirade.
Again, why is your evolution theory talking about you going away from the sun? Oops. Why are you talking about going away from the sun? You're on mute, bro. Go ahead. Jericho, or what's his name? Jeffrey. Go ahead. You're on mute, bro. Okay, so you're on mute.
Okay, can I talk
Answer the
for 1
question.
second? Okay. Why did they go towards or away from the sun.
And why are you getting sunburnt?
Probably because we went away from the sun. And that was part of the evolutionary process of what our tribe or whatever you call it did.
So you know that that's not the case for our people, right? That our anatomy is literally correspondent to taking in more heat, more
Yeah.
interstellar gases and nanodiamonds.
Yeah.
We're genetically and
Sure.
anatomically built for this environment
Yeah.
from birth
Yep. I
in
got you.
utero, right? But y'all are not.
That's right.
So how do you think you truly got on the planet if you didn't come from
How did
natural
I get
biogenetic
truly on the
processes? You
planet?
came through you came through spontaneous generation because you share DNA with multiple animals.
Wow. So you're asking me how I spontaneously generated on the fucking planet? Are you fucking kidding me? That's crazy. You know, like consciousness. That's what it's about.
But
Oh,
how conscious you are
people
is dependent upon
people
how,
were in.
see, Joe, how conscious you are is dependent upon how well you interact with the sun, because the sun is vital for all life forms on the planet. Everything needs the sun. Everything. So you're the only organism. You and other introgress animals, insects, and plants struggle under the sun, but organisms with a single set of chromosomes and one embryonic origin don't have that problem because we have autotrophic DNA.
Yay, protozoa.
You're saying protozoa, but evolution is talking about prokaryotes and how they evolved into eukaryotes. They're not the same thing. And that has never been proven by scientists. They're saying that it's a theory that acknowledge. Yeah, this nigga with that mucus ass laugh. You sound like you cheap cigs all day. And nicotine has fucking cat piss in it. Fuck is you talking about? A cat piss ass laugh. So the thing is that y'all can never explain how y'all got on the planet. Y'all love laughing and doing weird shit, but I'm asking you how you got here and you can't tell me. You just admitted that you get sunburnt. That's telling me everything I need to know. You're undergoing acute body radiation to a planet you think you're natural to. Your natural genetics can't stand the natural sun, and you really expect me to believe that you're natural. Be for real. Somebody says she's clueless. The first people on Earth were ORH negative. They have no antigens on the red blood cell. Thank you for proving my point. We never had antigens until we came in contact with you. Antigens are not natural to this planet. Antigens trigger immunal responses in the blood. This is the cradle of disease and disorders. Matter of fact, I'm going to screenshot that because I've never quite seen somebody prove my point quite like that. The first people on Earth were not ORH negative because every single blood type that you're talking to is correspondent and determined by antigens. O positive or O type blood is connected to zooborn chimps and pigs. Nobody should have that blood type besides y'all. RH and RH negative and positive. RH stands for rhesus or rhesus monkey, tomato. They are calling it rhesus monkey blood for a reason. Check how much of y'all's DNA y'all actually share with that organism. But our people don't naturally produce antigens. It's not present within our DNA, and it's not being naturally produced from the nucleoid region in our cells. We have antigens attached to the red blood cells from mixing with y'all. So prior to y'all getting on the planet, there were no blood types. There was no, everybody was the same. The only blood was sun blood, neuromelanin. So I don't understand that. But if I'm clueless, I would say request up, but you don't have enough followers to come up here. I thought they tested the RH blood on these monkeys, not like mice. I thought they tested the RH blood on these monkeys, not like mice. I don't understand that comment. If y'all want to request up and talk, there's 95 people in here and there's 7 more boxes that are open. So if you want your comment, like if you want it to be like read properly, you could like verbally have a discussion, like you can talk. Thank you, Rec Shop. Gratitude. You calling us monkeys when they are that. Facts. And they're not even just monkeys. They share 73% with dogs. That's why when you walk past them, they smell like that. It's because of the sulfur and the ammonia base. They're sulfur and ammonia based. DJ Sice, go ahead, using science.
Well, sister, first I'd like to thank you for bringing me up. I must admit, I'm just coming here to learn the language of your representation. I did have a question, if you would permit me to ask you.
Sure. Gratitude for saying that. Welcome in.
Yes, ma'am. Are you familiar with the teachings of Elijah Muhammad on the original black man?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, no, because I do hear a lot of scientific language that kind of explains certain things. I've researched in that, and I just want to say, sister, you are an absolute terminator, and I only hope to be blessed to have a fraction of what you know. Thank you.
Yeah, gratitude, my brother. When it comes to your genetics, you just gotta study it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have this information within you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's stored within the neuromelanin. So I would just say keep studying that because the brain is not really meant to store information. It's meant to channel information. And where we actually hold our memory is in the neuromelanin, which is produced by the pineal gland. But that biochemical substance functions everything about our morphogenic field, everything about our bodies. So I always tell people, know your melanin because there are 10 plus different types, and the type of melanin you have is explaining the type of DNA that you have. If we all had the same melanin, we would all phenotypically present the same. And not even just as so-called people, but if there was only one melanin, everything on this planet would look the same because plants are allomelanated, right? Microorganisms are pyomelanated. So the type of melanin is correspondent to the organism that you are. And because we are a completely different organism than these people, we see that modeled on a macromolecule level on a macromolecular level with the melanin, right? Neuromelanin is a macromolecule. And these people have the in vitro version of that. So that's why it doesn't make sense for them to say that they have souls, because the scientific explanation of soul is neuromelanin or morphic resonance. So if you can't take the light from the sun, it's no way that you could be neuromelanated, because that's the same thing. The same thing that's shining in the sky is the same thing that functions our cells. So what are some scientists that can tell you this? Daniel Silverman. Okay, I'm going to wait for everybody to get pen and paper, because every time when I go through the list, somebody asks me, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? And by the way, y'all, again, this is like my 4th page because TikToks keeps taking me down. But I'm going to type my name in the chat for my main page so you can see all my books that I have already pinned on my page. My YouTube has a lot of sources on it as well. These lives, I've been doing them for like like 2.5 years. So you can see lives that I've done like a year ago when I was first getting my feet wet. You can see the progression up until now. The genetic mutations are on YouTube. A lot of the raw dialogue series have source after source after source after source. It's just when I'm on live, everything is very small on the screen. TikTok does not allow for me to share a lot of information. So I download the lives and I put the sources in the video for YouTube as of late. Okay, so you can use that as for reference as well. But does everybody have pen and paper? Yes, Garden State. Yes. All right, so the scientists that actually prove that our cells cannot be penetrated, Danielle Silverman. That's one of them. All right, and I'm gonna do my best to repost the video and the clipping of that documentary on this page. I'm probably gonna end up making this page my main page and using Skywatcher as my backup. I apologize, y'all. I'm trying my hardest. Like, I think TikTok is on to the name Skywatcher because every page I loaded up, they always give me an account strike, like just like that. So, the next scientist is going to be John D. Biggerstaff. I'll put his name in the chat because it's kind of long. John Biggerstaff. He's a cell biologist. All right. Danielle Silverman. All right. And when it comes to genetic differences, like if you want to know genetically, biologically, and anatomically how you are different than YT people from micro to macrocosm, I'm going to advise our brother, Dr. Layla Africa. All right. Now, this is a brother from South Carolina. He tells you in his work that the word Africa is an agreed upon consensus in science, that when they talk about our people, anywhere that we're located across the globe, they use the word Africa. When they want to talk about our DNA, they have an agreed upon consensus that is backed by the Royal Society in Britain for them to say Africa. All right. I don't want anybody to get caught up on that because you have to read what our brothers and sisters are actually saying. They want to manipulate the titles as much as possible to keep us from not knowing about neuromelanin. All right. So the genetic and biological differences, he goes in on that type of stuff. Another brother that's very good with the genetic and biological differences is Dr. Delbert Blair. All right. All right. Let me go ahead and block you. And Dr. Richard King, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, all right, and Dr. Ann C. Brown. Now, there are several scientists that are coming out every single day that are also saying that we're not genetically the same. There's a Dravidian scientist that's beginning to surf. Her name is Dr. Ella Al-Shamaha. She literally proved that our people have DNA that is connected to an entirely different species outside of this planet. David Wilcock also proved that, like, I think back in 2009, and he got in trouble for it as well. Who else? What's his name? Cruz, Dr. Jack Cruz. Whew, that guy right there, as of late, now that's a guy you want to pay attention to because he exposes everything. You see what I'm saying? Dr. Jack Cruz. Let's see. I have a clip on my YouTube of another scientist that actually talks about how they use our children to power up these facilities. And I can't pronounce his name, but I did just post him on my YouTube, so you can go check that out. They specifically use our children to power up black body radiators, orgone energy accumulators, particle accelerators, because of the morphic field is high in free electrons. And the electron is the most powerful particle in the universe. All right. So that's what's powering up all of this. When we say that we're the blueprint for this shit, I really mean that. If you have organ donating on your driver's license, take that off. Okay. If you're BOK, take it off. Because that's the reason why our children, our men and our women are going missing at alarming rates. It's because of what our bodies, our biochemistry. Even the discussion of like melanin pills, they're taking melanin in exchange for vitality, right? Our organs, they consume that. Okay. So, let's see, Dr. Rupert Sheldrake goes in about morphic resonance. And then I have biology for dummies, genetic for dummies, anatomy and physiology for dummies, just to give you the basics. They're going to talk more about YT people in there. But then if you have the books from our people, our doctors, they give you, they help add structure to everything else. Okay, so somebody said how we're recreated then by magic. Who are you? Are you a YT man or who? Yes, thank you, Dr. Shiva. Facts. Dr. Shiva Ayadura, I think that's how you pronounce it. Dr. Shiva literally just says out of his mouth, they're shortening children. All right. And I just don't want to use the word to flag the live, but the scientists are villains. They're not like these mad scientists that they show in these TV shows. That's real. And I remember when I was studying the cold WAR in the 50s, right? Their scientists received a message, like the top scientists in the world, like the Royal Society, those 1,400 fellows that make up that Masonic group or whatever. They sent a message out to all scientists across the world and they said, wreak havoc. And that's why people talk so much about, I think the message was wreak havoc and cause hell. And that was the message that was sent to all scientists across the globe. That's why there's a lot of unethical practices in science, is because they have the permission to do it behind closed doors. They have the permission to experiment. This is why we see things like the 40s and the 50s, mean ketosis, aka MK Ultra. You see what I'm saying? Mind control, right? They use that on an everyday basis. That's what the phones are for. That's what the food is for. That's what the water is for. This bottled water is backed by the government. All right. So we just have to understand that they're coming for us on a biological level. It's not about you being so-called black. It's about what that black is composed of, right? That's what they're after. And that's what they've been after this whole time, is to shrink our mental capacity to make us think that we're the same as them. Because Dr. Layla proved this in the first 5 pages of his book, that when us as BOK people act the same and treat our melanin the same as Caucasians, we become neuromelanin deficient. And it goes against our genetics and our DNA. The diet, the food, the meat, the flesh eating, the sugar, all of it is the reason why we fell to this copper colored rusted state to begin with. Because when you go back in time and you look at pictures of us, a lot of us were a lot more jet black. We're a lot more darker in our complexion. But because of the introduction of white sugar, corn, right? These different types of synthetic grains that were being mass produced over the last like couple hundred years, but I could even stretch it back beyond that. But I know historically we can prove couple hundred years has shrunken our frequency like that, right? Did you want to say something, DJ?
No, just listening and studying.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Thank
Brother
you.
said, yeah, yep, overstimulating the brain for easier brainwashing and programming. Facts. Yeah, and that brother right there, he knows something. You know what I'm saying? Because when the brain is understimulated, that's what causes neuromelanin deficiency. When you're on the phones, when everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, walking, jogging, playing football, basketball, going to work, school, cooking, everything is only using about 3% of your brain. So we were doing far more exceptional things back in so-called time because our brain capacity was functioning at a greater capacity. There was more neuromelanin functioning and stimulating the brain. So when it's not being stimulated as much, that's what literally causes us to be illiterate. That's what causes us to be DUMB. Like having our children in their schools is what's keeping them DUMB. It's going against the way that their circadian rhythm, how they actually learn and perceive. We perceive through vibration, through pictures, through light, through colors. And they got your child sitting in front of a white sheet of paper. You see what I'm saying? With a font of a language that doesn't create audible friction for our brains. All right. And that's why you can look back at petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, everything left in stone by our people. It was pictures. You see what I'm saying? Symbols, sigils, mudras, right? Because that's what our anatomy responds to. That's why they don't want us going in a lot of these different, like the Grand Canyons or the different pyramids, or going even into the ruins or the megalithic structures. They won't allow us to go in them because if we see some of the things in there, it's going to immediately, I got flagged, y'all. I knew once I started talking about the children, they were going to flag me. F1, y'all. But the thing is like, they don't want us going into those places because when we see these things, it's going to hit our brain and trigger the memory that's been suppressed for 4,000 years. So they hire people. They hire their people to go into those places and dig the bones up, dig up artifacts, dig up these things. The Dravidians get high off of our bones. They chief the bones and achieve a euphoric state off of our bones. So they let them go in there because they steal the artifacts and then they go sell it on the black market, or they go sell it to each other. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta start. We gotta wake up and first realize that, like, we have to make sure that we pass the truth down to the next generation. That's why I go hard. I don't know about nobody else. I know it's children listening on this app because they know that they can't request up. They're not old enough to be on the panel, but they listen to the discussions. They reach out to me. They DM me when I had an Instagram. They would say, hey, I'm trying to get my mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everything you're doing. Like, the children know this information. Like, when I listen to, like, the teenagers, they know this information. They know it. My 11-year-old cousin can tell you why Red 40 is bad. You see what I'm saying? My she's 6 now, but a couple of months ago when my little cousin was 5, she asked me flat out of her mouth. She was like, Mia, why can't I eat? Or what did she say? She said, what part of the cow am I eating? Or what part of the pig am I eating? Or something like that, she said. And I had to tell her, I'm like, you're not eating a cow or a pig. That's a piece of chicken. And she already had known that chicken is an introgress animal because I already had that conversation with them months ago. So the children ask all the right questions, right? That's my same cousin. She also asked me, why don't you go to church? Children ask the most tapped in questions because they know. They be around indoctrinated adults and they, you know what I'm saying? They become illiterate throughout lifetime. By the time they become 20, now they're questioning the world. Right? Because when you ask all the right questions, adults don't have the answers, so they lie. So we have to make sure epigenetically that, you know, we're passing down the right vibration, the right truth, that we're doing what we're doing, that, you know, what we have to do as adults to make sure that because that's what we're responsible to do, is to make sure that we guide children back to themselves. Right? The number one rule in the cosmos is to know thyself. Stars know themselves. That's why that sun shines every single day. All right. So, Everybody that's in the request box is people I already debunked. You know what I'm saying? So that's that, you know what I'm saying? The brother said gonna have them correcting the teacher soon. That's actually why they're shutting the schools down, and the teachers have been coming forward on the internet saying how stressed out and how done they are. My stepmom is a teacher. You see what I'm saying? And my mom no longer teaches middle school. She's moved up to the collegiate level, teaching something completely outside of her degree because there's not a demand for teaching like that anymore, because schools are being shut down all over the country. AI is debunking the teachers, and they keep trying to get AI to teach the children during the what is it called? I don't want to say it with flagging the live, but the 2020, you know, when everything was remote. What do you think that they were programming the children for? To rely on AI. They was doing remote work on the iPads, and on when I was in high school, we had iPads. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the AI, the teacher will say something and Google will say something completely different. So AI it wouldn't be a sustainable thing anymore. You know, when it comes to teaching, school comes from the word skole, which means to hold back. You know, and the education system was started by the Rockefellers. And he wrote extensively in his Masonic Creed, every corner that they turn will be poison. I will make sure that every place these people go, that they will see poison, destruction, that they will turn on themselves, that they will always know about us, but never see us. I advise y'all read that Masonic Creed. That shit gonna make you want to flip everything over and fight. You see what I'm saying? And you just have to stay grounded, because these people are done for. The entities behind closed doors, they know their time is up too. We got to keep locking in with our DNA and making them impressions on that subconscious, so that the dormant deoxyetheric acid becomes more dominant, becomes more prominent. You start triggering more memories, right? We got to rely less on this system and rely more on each other. And we see that happening in Gary, Indiana right now. You see what I'm saying? They've been without power for like over a week, or just now approaching a week. And all the neuromelanated people in their communities, they're working together. Instantaneously, we resulted back to cooking over an open flame. A lot of people don't have power, so they firing them grills up. We gonna have to go back to nature. I don't know if y'all know that, because the grid is weak. This electromagnetic grid. Earth has a true grid. You can see this expressed in geology and with geophysics as well. And Earth is becoming more magnetic. Dr. Delbert Blair proved this in like the 80s too, because he understood science. Every single thing that we see today, one brother by his damn self was able to prove every single thing I see today. When I look at those videos, that brother didn't leave nothing out. And that's because he understood chemistry, biology, genetics, chordate morphology, like the basics of everything that we see depicted in the pyramids. That brother talked about. That's why I was telling the brother a minute ago, DJ Sice, you already have this information. You just got to remember it. We literally left it in stone across the globe. You see what I'm saying? For each other to find at a later time. Matter of fact, there's a sister, can't remember the name, but there's a story that was etched in stone by one of our women that said that at that time during 5,500 years ago, last dynasty for Egypt, what they call Egypt, right? She literally wrote in stone that if we don't change our ways, that this is what was going to be next. And it's everything that we see today. That's why the pyramids show helicopters, Wi-Fi symbols, phones, astronauts in those suits is because we are past, present, and future people. We can predict where we're headed based off of where we are now, based off of the study of the natural world. We can pinpoint what's natural and what's not. So a woman actually wrote that, and I constantly visit that story from time to time because, you know what I'm saying, it's a great reminder for who we are and what we're choosing. So yeah, when it comes to this, I just use evolution to talk about the truth because it's a theory that's talking about all life forms, and what better way to do that? What better way to tell these people that we're not the same? We didn't start from the same point, and we're not the same organism, right? And as you can see, these people don't like it, right? Yeah, so what's going on in the comments? Is somebody disagreeing? Who is this? Y'all keep tagging Save the Honeybees. Oh, everybody is tagging this person. Who is Save the Honeybees? Request up. Accept that invite. What's the problem? What's going on? Tell me some. She's so anti-YT. But am I just talking about YT people, or am I talking about everybody on the planet, including bees? Like, you saying save the honeybees, but y'all are fucking unaliving them. What do you mean? Save the honeybees. Y'all, the bees do more for the planet than y'all do. Okay, so why are you in here if you don't like it? Would you like for me to help you out? Blocked. There you go. We could just make it easy. You could just leave. All right. So yeah, these people are unnatural to this planet, man. I promise you that. Like, their whole theory is talking about how they migrated away from the sun. We should have knew then. We should have knew then. We should have knew then. You see what I'm saying? So bees, ants, everything do more for the planet than these people have ever done. You saying save the honeybees, the bees want you gone. That's why they be stinging y'all ass. Let me tell you something. When they sting you, they're giving their life, because after that, when they lose their stinger, that's the end of their life cycle. And there's a YT lady I used to see on like a couple months ago. She has is it leprosy or some type of disease, and she does something to her back to where she attracts bees to her to make them sting her, because there's a chemical that bees release that actually cure or help, it treats the condition that she has. How fucking selfish. And she just has like, I don't know, like 50 plus bees just stinging her, and she just in her bathroom recording it. And she knows that the bees are unaliving. She's picking them off one by one. And I'm not going to lie, that disease that she has looks like a sunburn. It's a skin issue. It's got to be a byproduct of photocarcinogenesis. So, they talking about save the bees and they unaliving them. Ciao. And somebody like that is probably saying save the bees because they like honey. It's a selfish ass reason, because they want something from the bee. Ciao, a mess. I can't believe it. It's Roger Stanley is still in here, and Jeffrey Chaucer. How is y'all still in here, man? Same with using scorpions. Yes, the scorpions too, brother. Somebody said I seen whitey people eating bees for no reason. Yes, dipping them in chocolate. Like, the hell? I'm Texas born and raised, even though I recently moved from Texas, but there's a chocolate chain that's out in Texas. It's also in other states. So some of you may be familiar with Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, and they sell chocolate covered crickets and roaches in there. And I went in there because at the time I was eating meat still and processed sugars and stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I used to eat chocolate covered potato chips. I did. You gotta try it and you gotta know what it. Don't try it because you're not supposed to eat chocolate or potatoes. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about, right? And them YT people and them Asian boys used to come in there like clockwork for the crickets. I'm like, who the? And I stopped eating there once I found out it was bugs in there and they was putting chocolate on them. I said, oh, hell no. I didn't know y'all was doing this in the back. Why would you go to a chocolate place and get insects? That's gene expression. I'm telling you, that's behavior. Why would you go in there and do that? You know? So I'm telling you, like, these people would sit down with a steak that they did not cook. You will see the juices, everything. I can't even think about it, man. I can't even think. Like, it's just a mess. But genetic data shows that pale skin is relatively recent adaptation rather than an ancient trait. And it's barely a adaptation because that so-called YT skin doesn't have the biochemistry or the melanin to adapt. So see nice. Would you like to come up? You saying somebody already? I don't recall ever being debunked, but if you want to come up here and do it, you can, because what you just said is not even true. And it's always like somebody that's like BLK trying to stand up for these people. These people keep coming in here and can't even explain their existence, and you are trying to do that. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, y'all, I'm just here. Anybody wants to come up and talk about it? Let me see. 918, did you have anything you wanted to add? Let me see if 918 is still there. DJ, did you have something you wanted to add? No? Okay. So let's see. They said, okay, let's see. Candid, using science, how do you feel about the prompt?
I don't know. I think it assumes a lot.
Using science, how do you feel about the prompt?
I just said I think it assumes a lot.
Using science, how do you feel about the prompt?
Are you retarded?
See, you see what I'm talking about? F1 in the chat for him saying that trigger word. Like, bro, you can't even, you can just say, oh, there's a lot of proof. Can you talk about it or no? Because that frontal lobe is underdeveloped, huh? That's why you can't. And then y'all want to say things like, are you D-U-M-B? Are you a R? Okay, I'm asking you the same question 3 times and you didn't answer it. So who's really that? All right, who's really expressing to be that? I'm telling you, these people, man, like, they can't even handle a simple TikTok conversation, bro. They can't understand the question. Like, it's like, yeah, like, I guess because I'm asking you to give me the science, they want to just use their feelings and they want you to say something to them first so they can have something to like talk about. Like, no, just come in here and talk about why you requested up. And they can't do that. Anyways, child, these people, they want our energy so bad, you know? That's how I know y'all is parasites, man. It's parasitic. Like, what the hell? You're a parasite, bro. Yeah, they want to control the narrative. Like, somebody said evolution is just a theory. Child, does anybody want to explain how they got on the planet? Somebody say, I believe in God, but not the one they show us. I think that's not him. You believe in God? Like, do you believe that we were all created by God? That's what happened when you stem from non-living matter. You gravitate towards the living. Facts. Facts. They saying you're a coward, but you didn't answer my question. Thanks for playing. Blocked. All right. GK
What up? What up?
is
What
the
up?
one using science. How do you feel about the prompt?
Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Well, I can definitely tell you that evolution definitely is fake. And that the real truth about life is that, the supernatural spirit of the creator controls every single thing on the planet and everybody and produces everything that you see, the technology, the buildings, the aircrafts, the vehicles, the way that the cities are designed from top to bottom, electricity being harvested and the knowledge on how to actually do that. I mean, every single thing on the planet is controlled by the creator. That's the real actual truth of life. Like, and it's only disclosed to people who the creator chooses to disclose it to, meaning that the spirit of the creator would literally have to come to you through somebody or through your own self. Because if I just said that the creator can control people, right, and it wanted to reveal itself to you, then it could literally possess you and show you its real physical power on a physical level, which is, fact. So evolution is definitely a lie, as far as like, the monkey developing into, us. Yeah, that's a lie. That's actually, I mean, common, sense, because I mean, who would think that God is like, that's like belittling God. Like, a nigga gotta develop us from monkeys to God. Come on, man. Come on, man. But yeah, though, no, I mean, that's all I gotta say about, as far as evolution, you know.
So you think that we were all created by God?
Oh, the creator, there's only one creator, and the creator controls and produces everything that you see. I mean, that's the real deal truth. I mean, for real,
What do you think, or what is the creator? Like, what do you mean when you say that?
Well, I mean, the most common way to understand the spirit, right, is to understand, for one, like I just said, is everything around you. But the spirit on a physical level, right? I'm gonna give you a prime example, right? This is the involvement. You have to understand what its involvement is on the planet, right? You have to understand what is the spirit's involvement, the creator, right? Because the spirit, when I say the spirit, I'm simply talking about the creator, the spirit of the creator, right? But the involvement of the creator on the planet is, like I just told you, the production of it. So, like, for instance, if you did this right here, if you had another phone right beside you and you went and looked up an airplane engine, now you're like, why are you mentioning an airplane engine? Because a lot of things that people overlook in life, like, and make it out to be so simple, it's really not for real. And whenever we get so dumbified, so dumbed down to thinking that like, for instance, speaking of evolution, right? Whenever we get so dumbed down to thinking that we evolved into learning the knowledge on how to produce all the things you see, airplanes, extremely complex structures like skyscrapers, like the ones in Dubai, like, you really need to go look at these things. And if you ever had the opportunity to look at them up close, you would really realize that, come on, man. Like, I mean, if you ever flew on an airplane, if there's anybody in the live that's ever flew on an airplane and actually got to see an airplane view of a city, right? You would understand, like, come on now, these things are not constructed by humans. Like, the design is too complex and it's too precise. So when I say, like, the spirit, the creator, right? I mean, you just got to understand, you're talking about something that, I mean, it's all powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, powerfully, like, where's an example of this power? I just told you, in the production. You see what I'm saying? In the production of the world, there goes the physical, sightseeing of its power displayed. I mean, look at your phone that you're on right now. You know what I'm
What
saying?
would
Like,
you call
nobody,
this entity? I'm just asking, like, what would you call this entity that you believe everything came from?
I mean, the proper title for the spirit of the creator is the creator, like the creator, because everything, including you and everybody, every animal, every technology, every structure, every fucking vehicle that the vehicle that you ride in was constructed by the same spirit that I'm talking about right now. And this
So
shit
the
is real.
phones actually cause us to be neuromelanin deficient. It messes with the brain waves of our brain. It causes diseases. There's yttrium 90, or excuse me, yttrium scandium that's found within the phones. So the phones are doing more harm than good. They also mess with the nervous system. They mess with your circadian rhythm. These phones also have predictive technology that are on the back end are used for trafficking, if you know what I mean. So I'm interested outside of the phones and the cars and things like that. There are groups of organisms, animals, insects, microorganisms, plants, and even so-called humans that don't share genetics or biology with this planet, yet they are here. So, what would be your explanation for your creator creating organisms that are not natural to this planet and also a plethora of different tools that go against our genetics and our biology?
Well, so for one, and I can answer that for you. So what you have to understand about the reality that you live in, right, is, okay, there's a secret about the creator that I just spoke to you about, right? About the parts that I did speak about. There's a secret to the creator, though, that it doesn't disclose to everybody. And that's that there's an evil side to the creator, right? And now you can use your own natural intuition and come up with this thought about God, but I'm talking about you can come up with your own thought process, but I'm telling you, there's an evil side. I'm telling you that there's an evil side of creation of the creator, right? So keep in mind what I just said. There's an evil side of creation of the creator. So when you talk about the microorganisms, like for instance, any type of disease, any type of sickness, things like that are caused by any of them things, right? You're just simply dealing with, creations of the evil side of God. Like, and it's crazy to say that, right? But I mean, that's just how serious this shit is, right? Like, so for instance, you just spoke about phones, right? How they have a negative effect on the body, right? In different ways. What is a phone called? A cellular device. And what are your body composed of millions of? Oh, that's right. Damn, sales. And niggas be thinking this is a coincidence, right? So, with that being said, right, if you do not actually take care of your body and consume the diet that was originally created by the creator, which is anything that grows from the soil. If it does not grow from the soil, it's not meant to be consumed by the body that you're residing in, spirit wise. This is actually a true fact of God, like of the creator, the real one. If it does not grow from the soil, you're not supposed to consume it. Do pigs grow out the dirt? Do cows grow out the dirt? I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, listen, for real. I mean, this shit is real. Like, I ain't even gonna lie to you. This knowledge I'm telling you really real for real. But like I said, though, speaking about the phones, right? They're cellular devices. Your body's composed of cells. So, yeah, phones can have a negative effect on your body, but only if your cells are not purified in a way, if that's what you want to say. But when you get to talking about like them, affecting your melanin and things like that, I'm not trying to create, conflict and debate between me and you, right? That's not what I'm trying to do. But I will tell you that that is a false thought, to like wrap your mind around and consume, is that phones have an effect on your melanin. It's not true. It's not true. It's really not. I'm just saying. It's not.
So I ain't gonna lie, everything you just said kind of threw me off a little bit, and yeah, I'm confused too, Reko. So, you're saying that this creator has an evil side, and evilness comes from this same creator. So
Right.
the thing is that why would a loving creator also create havoc? It doesn't sound like this is because good and evil is not an expression of the universe. It's positive and positive and negative energy, and positive and negative energy is not good or bad. Ethics morality, good and bad, comes from man. And it's new to this planet because animals in nature, prokaryotic animals, prokaryotic plants don't move off of ethics and morality. Everything is operating outside of its genetics. So the thing is that pigs and cows have introgressed DNA. So basically what you're saying is that your creator introgresses animals. But then there's another group of animals that come through natural biogenetic processes. That doesn't make any sense. And I think people that subscribe to religion or subscribe to any ideology through the lens of religion are the ones that struggle with seeing the truth about what's really happening around them. Because you basically just agreed that you know that the phones are harmful, but then at the end of your statement, you said it doesn't harm us.
No,
And that's typically like how people do. Like if and I'm not saying that you believe in this, but like when I do talk to people from a religious perspective, they say that we were all created by God. Well, if that's the case and you believe that God created Adam and Eve, how could we have all come from Adam and Eve when Adam and Eve's children were children and they were siblings? And I'm like, is that not incest? And they say, yeah, it is. So I'm like, okay, so how can people go to hell for things that are bad when these are things that were allowed and set up by God? So that's kind of like what I'm asking you. How does the good side of God even allow the bad? And how does the bad even allow the good?
so what you should understand is right is this right here. And remember I told like this why I just told you that the creator will only disclose itself and make itself known to you like this same spirit. When I say spirit, because spirit brings it down to an earth level. Like, okay, now I'm seeing the real physical interaction between the holy field of all things, the source. I'm seeing the source on a real physical level. So that's when I say spirit, right? But to answer your question right on, how can all, the madness, how can all the, because with the statement that I said, right, that would also align with the fact that the world is the way it is right now because of the creator, right? Not because of actual free will of humans or anything like that, right? Or us. And that is the truth. And like I told you, what you need to understand is we're living out, okay, what is everything in the world? I'm gonna read out this, right? Everything in the world is based on time, right? Your phone, time. Your TV, time. You walk into a business, time. Everywhere, clocks, time, time, time. You got to wake up at a certain time. Time. Everything about a person's, life, is managed by something called time. So whenever you get to talking about the creator, right? The creator in its fullness and completeness is like a puzzle put together, right? And I'm not trying to give you an example that you've heard somewhere, but I'm giving an example that's really real though. The creator in its completeness is the picture put together. When the creator creates itself, right, which would be creation, it is now broken itself out of completeness, meaning that anything that it creates is never going to be complete. You see what I'm saying? As itself in its original state. You get what I'm saying? So when you get to talking about the experience of the life that you see on this plane, right, on this planet, right now, you're literally witnessing the creator broken itself into time, meaning every single female spirit walking the planet, every single masculine spirit walking the planet, and every single animal and insect, that is living, right, is literally the creator broken into time, into a
It
into a
can't be the
that.
case if there are organisms that don't come from nature. What I'm telling you is that there are organisms that would not have come from your creator because they don't come from natural creative processes or biogenesis. You mentioned a pig and a cow, but these don't come from biogenesis. They come from introgression and genetic engineering. That's the same for potatoes, celery, different unnatural plants. Man is doing this, and the man that's doing it, like the people that we see doing it today, are not our people. There's no BLK top genetic engineer in the world.
So
They
can
would
I tell
never
you
let us
something?
get close to that. So I got you where you're coming from. I understand everything that you're saying, but this live is about evolution. And I did ask you using science how you feel about the prompt, and you did bring creationism. And I discuss science in here because that's what we can see is cyclical and reciprocal. We
So can
can
I tell you
pinpoint what
something?
is natural and what is unnatural from the study of the natural world. So I don't feel like we're going to get anywhere with this conversation because you just keep ignoring the questions that I'm asking you.
Okay, so one last thing then, and I'll exit myself from this live because I try to try to give something that actually will get a person's mind closer to what really is. And this is the last time I'm gonna tell you. So you said pigs and all of these things, right, are not natural. Let me tell you this right here, because once again, something that's real big, when it comes to the creator is sex. If it can be reproduced by sex, it is of a natural way of life. That's all I can tell you. So if a pig can have sex with another
I
pig
need you to
and
say
correct,
smokes to not flag the live, please.
so like I said, anything that can be produced by physical, that right there, it literally discloses what you just said. Do you see what I'm saying? Prior to me saying this, literally, if it can be reproduced by physical, then literally without opinions in it, because I don't care. I'm not one of these people on the internet that gets pride from, hey, I know something I know something, let me talk. Like,
All I do is ask like simple questions, man. I ask the most simple questions and I never get the answer because I only get clear and concise answers from people that know what they talking about. People that speak in extremities and have gray areas don't know what they talking about. Just because you see something, this is the point that I'm trying to say. Just because you see something does not make it natural. You're saying that pigs reproduce, but the so-called human genome is pigs, dogs, cows, cats, zebrafish, platypus, monkeys, and those animals do not find each other sexually attractive to reproduce with each other to be within the human genome. I don't see no dogs finding a platypus attractive and having children for it to be within the human genome. Ticks don't find flies attractive and try to procreate to create a dog. We don't see that type of evolution. So I just want to reset the live and reset the discussion. This room is about evolution. The topic here is that it's the biggest lie ever told. You don't have to agree with me. Just bring the science. I don't want to talk about religion because that's not my live. Some people are live to talk about religion. I'm not. You see what I'm saying? Some people are here to talk about whatever it is. I'm here to talk about the prompt. I'm not gonna sit here and okay incest and rape. F1 in the chat. See, that's I'm probably gonna get flagged for saying that or probably getting taken down. I'm not gonna okay that through religion because that's what religion does. Religion says that those things are okay to do. And the reason for it is free will.
I mean, so you agree with
So give me a second because I'm actually still speaking about someone else that was up here. All right. So since you're a new guest, evolution, the biggest lie ever told, using science. How do you feel about the prompt? You're on mute. Go ahead.
no, I believe it's the biggest lie ever told. I don't know if you agree with it or not, but I
Yeah.
believe it's the biggest lie ever told because I don't think we evolved from whatever it is, a monkey or something, to where we are now. You know, well, like what we gonna be in the future if it's a cycle or something, we gonna keep evolving, right? So I believe it's the biggest lie ever told. I don't know about, you know, it's
So if evolution is a lie to you, what is true to you?
I mean, evolution not in a way of nature, which is like human. There's evolution in all kind of aspect of things, but like not in nature, you know, in a way. I mean, you was just talking about it. They wouldn't just like, how would they end up in like we're human?
I
So
got
they
you. So like how do you think these people got on the planet then? Or how do you think these organisms that are unnatural, how would they have got on the planet if it wasn't through evolution? What do you think happened?
I mean, you don't want to get into religion, but whoever created this, if you think about nature, you know. Everything is balancing. I mean, you get outside right now, like you're gonna breathe oxygen, you know.
Okay, so it's just kind of disrespectful that I'm live and I'm just saying, hey, we're talking about the prompt, right? And I keep asking y'all, evolution, the biggest lie we're told, using science, how you feel about the prompt, and then you're saying, oh, you don't want to get into religion. Then why the fuck did you request up? If you know that this live is not about religion, why the fuck would you request up? Out of respect. If you want to talk about religion, then you either have to start your own live about that or go to one where they are discussing that. I just said incest and grape, and niggas is still trying to say that it's okay. What's up? Like, am I tweaking or something? And then you was already ready to come off mute to back that same shit up. Like, what's up? And like I keep saying, these are people that you work with, that's at the grocery store, that's around you, that you're in the same society where this is how people think. Number one, these people can't tell you how they got on the planet. Number two, we can see through phenotypic expression, we don't have the same genetics. Number three, if we see that they're not the same as us genetically and phenotypically, and they can't explain how they got on the planet, we shouldn't even be, I don't even fucking talk to these people. Real spill, the only time I talk to these people is on TikTok when I'm live. Any of these YT people that come up to me, hi, how you doing? Good morning. I don't say shit back. And if you've been following me on my other pages for a while, you know I don't say nothing to these people. I go in their store. I don't say shit to them. And when you don't give them the shit that they looking for, when you don't respond, you're going to see that gene expression for real. These people call the police on you just because you didn't say hi. They going to go call somebody to come get you because you are giving off suspicious behavior because you didn't say hi to them. That's how bad they want our energy, because they are a horizontal genetic transferable species, which means that they need genetic material from other organisms to function. The reason why these people eat cows is because they have cow DNA. They need the blood of a cow to function. The reason why these people be doing shit with their dogs is because they share 73% of their DNA with dogs. When you walk past these people and you smell that, you're smelling sulfur. All right, you're smelling their DNA. The lipids are responsible for sending out genetic material in and out of the cell. You're smelling that. All right, so we got to be able to explain the genetic and the biological differences to children. Because right now, nobody, the race, if Elon Musk, when it comes to race and ethnic groups, if Elon Musk can be considered African American or a South American, somebody lying when it comes to these titles. If YT people and Arabs can also be the same title as you or the same ethnic group as you in other parts of the world, wherever, then we got to have a discussion about genetics, right? Evolution is about a genotypic change over time. And our genes have always matched this planet. We can't say the same for these other people. Okay, so I'm going to come clean. I see that it's a few people in the request. I'm going to say this now because I seen when y'all requested up. All right. If you do not have science, please come out of the request box. If you don't have science to back up whatever is going to come out of your mouth, just chill in the comments, you know? All right. So to the person that's in the chat saying Elon is a YT African, you see how you had to put YT to actually let me know who you're talking about? That's my point, right? So it is a social construct, and that's why the discussion is always about DNA and genetics. So I think it's Ghost Boy Beats. Tell me how you, okay, he left. Okay, maybe it was an accident. All right, y'all. So let's check the comments. Let's see. Somebody's saying so ignorant. Okay. Somebody said conquered the world. What you consider to be conquer is through disease. When we first came in contact with y'all, y'all wiped out 509 million of us due to disease. It wasn't because of GUNSs. That came later after we began to have antigens that slowed us down, because prior to that, we were able to outrun a bullet. Prior to that, our bones were non-responsive to a bullet because of the density was so strong. Your scientists and your doctors, the whole ideology of having thick skin comes from our skin being unable to be cut. So the state that you see us in today is because of us coming in contact with your DNA, toxic seminal fluids, and a toxic ass microbiome. So understand, what you think that you conquered, you did through your nasty ass microbiome. You did through incomplete dominance. Everything else came later, and you needed help because y'all didn't create anything. We could talk about phones, combs, refrigerators, everything. Nothing was created by y'all, not even Tesla. Six Paths, I'm kind of confused by some of your comments. Did you want to like request up? Or are you agreeing? I'm not understanding. My
Yeah, I
energy is
don't.
guarded. Thank you.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really want to like talk to you about religion or evolution or religion. I'm kind of curious as to like how these discussions goes. That's why I was here watching. But in terms of like race in itself, race is not a like has nothing to do with genetics. Like
Mm-hmm.
race is purely a social construct.
Correct.
Ethnicity is a culture, and nationality is just like where people are from. So yeah, you can have like a white person who was born in Africa. They're African and they're white because African's like the region. Just like Lupita Nyong'o was born in Mexico, that's her nationality. Her race would be black. Those aren't like.
Yeah, this is the discussion about genetics and biology. I'm not talking about the fact that these people are YT. I'm talking about their biochemistry and the
I got
fact
you.
that it differs from ours. So I'm using the titles because that's what we're collectively choosing. But I
I
knew
got
that you were kind of agreeing. I didn't know what point. I was just like, maybe he doesn't understand. I just wanted to see what you're gonna say. Yeah, race is not biological. It is a social construct, and it's been socially constructed by these people.
Yeah,
So
in order
to
to
keep us from, yeah, to seeing the truth about genetics. So I got you with that.
yeah, yeah. All right, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Thanks.
Okay, bet. Gratitude.
Peace,
So
peace.
yeah, peace. So yeah, y'all, if anybody else wants to come up and add in the conversation, feel free. Um, I do these lives all the time. I do them with my other half. We go through the genetics, the biology, the neuroscience, anatomy, physiology, everything. I like to do the lives a lot of the time by myself because it strengthens neurogenesis. Talking to different people about these topics, the conversation is going to go so many different ways, and it allows me to be quick on my feet and really helps me embody like knowledge itself, being able to you know what I'm saying, articulate everything that is thrown out, at me. So I advise, keep studying who you are, because if you don't understand the body that you're operating 100% of the time, that's a problem. Because if you're not governing your energy, somebody else is, and this is where you get the construction of governments, which are literally meant to govern your mentality. And that's why people struggle with being able to think for themselves and critically think at that, right? And that's why I talk about evolution, because most people only understand evolution from how it's taught in schools, but the top evolutionary biologists and cell biologists are debunking this phenomenon every single day just by understanding the basis of the theories, the basis of the theory. All right, so we never observed haploids to turn into diploids of another species. Haploids and diploids are of the same species. Dean Hill, using science, how
Hey,
do you
how
feel
you
about the
guys?
prompt? Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the biggest lie ever told.
Okay, why do you believe that?
I think evolution's really well substantiated, and I think there's a lot of scientists who spend their entire life, trying to understand these things, and I don't know. I don't think it's fair to them who spend their entire lives substantiating this stuff, and yeah, that's my.
So, what's the evidence that you have to support the base premise of how prokaryotes, so called, evolve into eukaryotes, being that evolution is a theory about a genotypic change over time?
All right, say that again.
So what's your scientific explanation for how haploids turn into diploids of another species or how prokaryotes evolved into eukaryotes? It's the basis of
Uh, I,
evolution, talking
I
about
I
a
don't.
genotypic
I wouldn't
change
say that's
over
the
time.
the basis of evolution, but I can't really put it to you in like super scientific terms, but.
So you can't put it in scientific terms, but you don't think that what I'm saying
Well, I
is the
mean,
basis
there are
of
people who go to
evolution.
school for like 4 years for this stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like that easy to just. Well,
Okay, so are you able to articulate why you disagree with the prompt or not?
yeah, I think evolution's really well substantiated. If we look at all the different fields of study, um, we see that that there's all these different fields of study, and evolution theory is yet to fall apart. So I think it's
You keep
quite
talking
impressive for a
about
scientific theory.
scientists and but you haven't given me the explanation. I just want you to tell
Well,
me in
I
your own words why you believe that it's true. You don't have to tell me what's I've been live for, let's see, almost 3 hours, and I've been telling them what up to 20 different scientists are saying about evolution and how we're not
I could
genetically
I
or
could tell you
biologically the
hundreds of
same
thousands are telling
species.
you.
Go ahead.
They're telling you evolution's true. I mean, these guys are the professionals. I mean,
every Most evolutionary biologists do not agree on evolution. It is the number one discussion in the world. How the eukaryotic cell got on the planet is the top discussed thing on this planet, and most scientists do not agree. That is what makes it the most controversial.
wait, what do you
What
mean
scientists,
the
I mean
eukaryotic
exactly
cell didn't
what I
come
said.
first?
Of course, thank you. So how it got on the planet is the number one question in the world. So again, what
Yeah, but
evidence
there's
do
some strong
you
leading
have?
theories.
So
Like,
then
for
tell
instance,
us, can we talk about it, please? I just want
like
you
the
to tell
primordial,
me. Like, damn.
yeah, like the primordial soup is a strong theory. It presupposes that Earth contained one of the most abundant resources on or in the universe, and it used those to create the conditions of life, and that's where life sprung from.
Right, I understand panspermia, and I can actually
No,
explain
no,
my
no, not
existence
panspermia.
through, well, but that's what you just explained, that all life
No,
is
no, no, no.
connected because,
So
okay.
panspermia basically
I'm gonna
infers
be
that.
honest with you. If you finish speaking and I speak after and you say, no, 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 I'm gonna take you off the live. All right. So I keep asking you to explain yourself and you keep doing this little game. Just please tell me using science how evolution is true, just in one take, please. So that way I can get your perspective.
Yeah, so I believe that one of the strongest theories in science is the primordial soup claim. So that's basically the claim that the conditions of life were met by certain weather conditions and the abundance of certain certain chemicals in the when the earth was fully water and cooling down, that the conditions of life was met. So panspermia, I believe, presupposes that life came from another planet or an asteroid and was carried to Earth. That's not what I'm saying.
So you believe in evolution, but you don't believe in panspermia.
Panspermia is just a hypothesis.
What do you think evolution is?
It's a theory.
And what do you think a theory is?
A theory is made up of hypothesis.
Okay, see what the
I'm not making that up. Theory is the highest form. Hypothesis is not. Theory is the
Okay,
highest form of scientific.
so here's the thing.
What's the word?
Scientists agree on panspermia. It's a theory that really can't be debunked because we can look at interstellar gases, nanodiamonds, particles that create the universe, and they are equally found throughout the entire cosmos. What is on Earth is also equally being sent through chordate morphology to other planets. We're still receiving interstellar gases and nanodiamonds from Mars or from Neptune or from Jupiter or other stars within our solar system as well that come into the system throughout their sun cycle or their life cycle. So panspermia is actually something that is heavily supported, and most scientists agree on it because how else are we able to see charged ionized particles within the atmosphere? I mean, we can literally see it, and it's found abundantly within the ionosphere, which is equally connected to the biosphere, which is linking us directly back to the cosmos. So I got you with that. I'm still waiting for the evidence on how all life forms are connected through a theory like evolution, considering that y'all don't share genetics or biology with this planet.
No. So my thing. Okay, I brought up the primordial soup. So that infers that the conditions of life, like how you said, the conditions of life are most abundant in the entire universe. I'm saying the conditions of life were met here on the planet, here on Earth, right? And then life was made on Earth. Panspermia infers that life was carried from somewhere else in the galaxy and hit Earth, and that's where life stemmed from. I'm saying the conditions of life were met here on the planet through
So
the
you
primordial soup claim.
Okay, so the thing is that I just want to ask a clarifying question. Are you saying that Earth is the only planet?
No, no, no. I'm saying Earth
So
is the
then
only
how
planet we're aware of that has life. So how
how
can we substantiate
that's
a
not true.
panspermia event?
That's not true.
What?
That's not true. Scientists believe that there are more planets that support life. They just don't have the tech to be able to read what's within their atmosphere. Again, based off of the interstellar gases and nanodiamonds that are being sent from the planet that's being received by Earth, they know that other life forms are out there. They talk about it all the time. That's the reason why
No.
octopus, don't overtalk me, please. That's the reason why octopus, praying mantis, there's just several plants, animals, and insects that their genetics is connected to an entirely different planet. Octopus is one of them. They're said to have extraterrestrial DNA because their DNA aligns with other planets based off of their what is it called, chromatophores. That part of their DNA is an equal representation that this is just one of their homes. They've also been on other planets as well. What I'm just trying to get down to the bottom of is that there's a group of organisms that are on this planet that does not come from natural and biogenetic processes, like cats, dogs, celery. You see what I'm saying? Potatoes. These things are not natural. They're man-made. So how do these things also make up the human genome if these are man-made organisms, and these organisms also don't naturally find each other attractive for it to be within the human genome, considering that evolution is one of the things that drives it is sexual reproduction?
Right. So on that last part, when you hear that's like dogs share human DNA, it's not that they're finding each other attractive and then reproducing with each other. They share a common ancestor with one another that then diverge into two different species or two different families. So when you hear like, oh, dogs have human DNA, it's more of the fact that we have similar DNA from a common ancestor that diverged into two different species.
Which means that you would have them within your genome.
Not the
That's
dog, but the common ancestor.
but what makes up the dog? Is it not the ancestor? What is its
Yeah,
progenitor?
yeah.
Right. But again, dogs have introgress genes. You know what introgression is?
No, no.
Okay, so so I've been talking to you this whole time and saying it, and you didn't even know what it was. Okay,
You
introgression is where you take genetic material literally from one species and another species, and through a medium of hybridization, the genetics are fused together to create the organism that it is. So a dog shares multiple genetics its chromosomes, its biochemistry with other introgress animals. So the wolf has a single set of chromosomes and has one embryonic origin where it gets its genetics from. But a dog has genetic material that is shared with, it has 78 chromosomes that stem from multiple origins. Humans have 25 to 35 different, 25 to 30,000 different genes that stem from multiple origins. And these origins are a byproduct of introgression. So how would any of this be natural when nature doesn't introgress genes?
Well, like you said, dogs actually evolved from gray wolves. So I mean, that
I
would
didn't
kind of
say that
explain a
they
lot of it.
evolved. I didn't say that they evolved.
I'm saying that's the scientific consensus of how dogs are made.
I said they share DNA. Yeah, introgression is man-made. So nature didn't do it. It's not biogenetic. It's
No,
spontaneous, generative. So they did not, a wolf did not naturally find a cat, zebrafish, ticks, flies, lice, and fleas attractive for it to make up the organism that you're talking about, because we can talk about wolves, but wolves is not the only thing. We can talk about dogs, but dogs are not the only thing. You're incomplete dominant. All of your DNA is recessive. Okay, you 73% with dogs versus 98% with chimpanzee versus 86% with bonobo versus 50% with banana versus 32% with yeast versus 80. You're not 100% of anything. And all of these
yeah.
organisms have been introgressed, meaning that they are a byproduct of genetic engineering.
Okay, they're not genetically engineered or genetically modified. They're artificially evolved.
Oh my
They still
gosh.
went through a natural process, but it was
Artificial, huh?
accelerated by human intervention.
Thank
So
you.
when we domesticate dogs or cows or pigs, we're rapidly breeding them to increase that variation pool.
Right, because you take
So
a
that
eumelanated or a pheomelanated cell, which can be introgressed, i.e. the wolf, and you introgress the DNA with rice. You make a small pore formation on the cell and you introduce a new species. That is artificial selective breeding, or what am I trying to say? Selective. What do they talk about in evolution? Natural selection.
artificial
Yeah, so
natural.
that's artificial selection. That's not natural selection. If humans are driving it, and I'm telling you that humans have introgressed genes, nothing about your theory of evolution would be natural. That would mean that you're not a natural organism then. Because scientists are saying that our cells don't allow for penetration or any type of genetic engineering, and it never has. They're unable to splice or to make pore formations on our cells. And that's because of the morphic resonance. You need electroporation to splice. And our cells are coated in UV light. So y'all have the DNA that can be spliced because your DNA is held together by in vitro neuromelanin. You have in vitro eumelanin, in vitro pheomelanin. So this is the synthetic melanin type. There's 10 different types of melanin. The type and more, and there's, honestly, I would argue that there's more than that. So like I I literally just said what it is, and then you just put another word in front of it and said it's not that, it's artificial. All of it is that. All of it is that. It's nature doesn't do it, so it equally makes it artificial. So thank you for
Right.
admitting that what's driving your evolution is artificial selection and not natural selection.
Well, for domesticated animals.
But you
Can I can
share
I can
DNA
I
with,
can I add nuance to it?
but you share DNA with domesticated animals, correct? That's
Yes.
what
Yeah.
makes up your genome. So then thank you, artificial
No,
selection. You're
I don't
not
make
a
up.
byproduct of biogenetic processes then, because nothing about our genome or ginkgo or elephants, or minus, like Asian elephants, uh, crocodiles, alligators, there's a group of organisms on this planet that are prokaryotic, meaning that they have a single set of chromosomes. They have one embryonic origin, right? They're natural to this planet, but there's organisms that are not, and you fall in that category because you just admitted that everything that makes up your genome is introgressed.
Okay. Can I respond to anything? I mean, can I respond to like anything at all?
Yeah, I'm letting you respond, but when I respond, respond extensively. So go ahead.
So, evolution theory also supposes all life on Earth stems from one common ancestor.
What's
There's
the
no
common
other
ancestor?
species that it's referred to as the last universal common ancestor, abbreviated into Luca.
Mm-hmm. And Luca is what? We talked about it at the beginning of the
Luca is a
conversation.
single-celled organism.
Ah, bingo. Prokaryotes,
Yeah, but
right? And you remember how
no,
you
no,
said, yes, it is. Whoa. What do you mean
no.
that it's
Can I
not?
when
Go ahead,
when
please. Oh my God.
when they began to evolve, they broke off into eukaryotic and prokaryotic.
Broke off how? Prokaryotes were the only original life
They
forms
went in
that.
two different evolutionary directions.
How? They're two different cellular form
Maybe they were on
types.
two different sides of the planet. Maybe one decided they wanted to go this route for its own survival. And also, I wanted to also elaborate
No, hold
on
on,
your
Dean.
distinction
Dean,
between.
Dean, you're not paying attention to my questions at all. And you're not really paying attention to what I'm saying. We already agreed that prokaryotes, you said we all stem from a common ancestor, right? That means that that single cell organism that you're talking about is first. So how the hell did they exist at the same time as eukaryotes? That goes against evolution. How were they existing at the same time? And they're two different cellular form types, and scientists to the megaparsecond cannot prove the connection between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. There is fact within theory, but the theory of them being linked together has not ever been proven true by any scientist on the globe. They are acknowledging that prokaryotes are here and eukaryotes are here. How the eukaryotic cell got here is the number one question in the world. Like you said, they came later.
So they're not questioning how they got here. It's what they evolved, like why they went into that direction. But they know it comes from the last universal common ancestor, which was here on Earth. So
Yeah,
all
and
species from the planet. And I also wanted to make a distinction about artificial selection and natural selection. Natural selection is like an animal favoring certain genetic traits over time for its survival. Artificial is human beings selecting traits for its survival, right? So maybe a pig has more body weight, so we choose that pig and breed that one. So it evolves all the same, but we're choosing it this time. We're choosing it for us. Natural selection would be it's choosing certain traits based on its survival pattern, whatever is favorable
so whatever is favorable, correct? That's what you just said.
for the survival.
Nature
Yeah, yeah.
nature is choosing whatever is favorable for survival.
In a sense, yes.
No, see, this is why I don't like talking to y'all because you keep saying I got you. I'm just gonna whatever. Nature
Well,
is what
I just said in a
no, I
sense
got
because
you. I
nature
got
isn't like
you.
the
I got
actual
you.
like.
I got you with what you're saying. You're saying that nature selects you.
No,
And that's
not
what
like
is going to
literal like
be
Mother
dependent
Nature. I mean
upon
like
your can I just speak and respond to what you just said? You're saying that based off of you're basically trying to say that you are fit to survive because you are here. Is that what you're saying?
that the question has no nuance.
I'm asking you, based off of what you're saying, you would be a fit to survive because you're here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if we take that on a macro scale and look at all of your people across the globe, you're saying that they're fit to survive, but your people have the lowest melanin classification on the planet, which
I'm
means that
black. I'm
y'all,
African American.
okay, the people that you are defending have the lowest melanin classification, and you're saying that they are the most fit to survive, even though millions of these people unalive due to the sun, unalive due to photocarcinogenesis and issues with UVC radiation. So you're talking about a group of people who came up with the theory called evolution, and the basis of their theory is talking about how they migrated away from the sun. And these people are fit to survive on a solar radiated planet, even though they're getting first degree and second degree sunburn, even though every single chromosome that they have is connected to a genetic mutation, even though we see 1p36, TP53, SLOS phenotype, hypertrichosis, acromegaly, every single genetic mutation that these people have is because of the sun. Yet you're saying nature selected them to be the most fit to survive.
I wasn't talking about human beings and any sub region of human beings. But if you want to talk about people who have low melanin, it's because if they're no longer living in Africa, which all humans originate from, there's not a lot of sun, especially if you go higher up into the colder regions. And to compensate for, because it costs a lot of energy. That's why having lighter skin is a deficiency or regressive gene. It's because it costs energy to have melanin. And if you don't have a sun to substantiate that energy, you get lighter skin and lighter eyes and lighter hair.
So you're not fit for the environment.
Well, you're fit for that environment, maybe not Africa, but if you move away from Africa, you're fit for the cold now.
But the sun still shines in cold regions.
Not as hot as in Africa.
But it's still the same sun. It's still the same UV. And UV radiation has been ground level on this planet since 2015. So what you're considering to be cold is no longer cold. That's why your politicians are fighting over Greenland right now, because it's becoming green again. The natural Earth is becoming more magnetic. So the places that are going to be, or that are cold, are no longer going to be cold because it was under sub-zero tech. That was proven through the Wilderness Treaty of, I can't remember what year it is, but the wilderness, the Antarctica Wilderness Treaty, that proved that several times over. You can even switch your VPN, hop on a Russian server. They'll tell you that within the first three sources, and those are peer reviewed and they're backed by all of the scientists, pretty much all of the top scientists over there as well. And Sweden will also tell you that. Germany will tell you that. America, depending on which scientist you're listening to, will tell you that. So the thing is that cold regions are about to be phased out. And
About
cold
to
is
be,
not
but
natural to this planet. It's not natural to the cosmos. Everything in the cosmos is tropical. There's 15 plus phases of matter, right? And the more you look at different phases of matter, the more you see how important heat is to the cosmos
so
and to
actually,
this planet, because it's a
literally
solar
speaking,
radiated planet. That means that it doesn't matter where you go, you're still being affected by the sun and terrestrial radiation. These people are getting sunburned even in cold regions because the sun reflects off of the snow.
right?
That's why a
Because
lot.
because the world is getting hotter now. But
Yep.
one thing I wanted to say here: the Earth has actually been cold longer than it's been warm.
And what's your dating scale for that? What's your
Be,
what?
be, because it took a billion years for the Earth to cool down before life could begin, and it was still
It
extremely
took
cold.
a bit. Hold on for a second. It took a build.
A billion,
Prokaryotes
half a
don't
billion.
function in a cold environment because they're autotrophs, which means they need the sun to reproduce as a vertical gene transferable species. What do
Luca was
you?
not prokaryotic or eukaryotic
So
yet.
then, what was it? I gotta find this out
It
because
was
there's
just the
only
last universal
two.
common ancestor.
What were they? What was it?
It was just a see. I don't. It's just called the Luca. It's
Mm,
that's what it's called.
No, you already said
I
out of
don't
your
know the
mouth. The
scientific
live is
classification
recorded.
for it.
Hold on for a second. You already said out of your mouth, the live is recorded. And I do post these on YouTube. You already said earlier that it is a single celled organism. Now you're saying that it's not a prokaryote or a eukaryote. And I already asked you, what is Luca? I literally asked you, I said, and what is Luca? And you said a single cell organism. Now you're saying that it's not, it's neither one.
Well, so
Hold on for a second. Let him respond and then I'll get to you.
I didn't know I was muted.
So now you're saying
Wait,
that it's not
did
a
you want me to?
single celled organism. Yeah, I would like for you said that it was single celled and now you're saying that it's not. So what is it?
What do you? I'm sorry for Luca.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead, Mighty Whitey. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
I don't know. I had a question. Since you believe that if it's evolution, is it possible that why would we get the closer you get to the sun, the colder it gets, and you can't believe in evolution in the Bible at the same time? Am I correct?
Using science, how do you feel about the prompt?
So I'm asking if I can use which theory. Are you believing in evolution or you're not? It's going to be two different
Because
answers.
it says evolution, the biggest lie ever told. So that
Right.
I don't agree with evolution. So what is your take on the prompt? Do you agree? Are you saying you believe in God?
Well, I'm just saying you can't believe in both. So I'm noticing some people are saying the same thing, and you can't believe in both. Some you're going by God. Like if you go, the closer you get to the sun, the colder it gets. But that's neither evolution is not saying that. So I don't think the Bible says that either. But that's a fact. So evolution, we know that it's pretty much bullshit. And same thing with the center of the earth. They say we've got hot magma in the middle of the earth. But the deeper you get and the closer you get to it, the colder it gets. So everything's finding a lot of things that just don't add up. And I was just questioning, So it's hard to answer these questions in either one.
So what do you believe? I just need a simple answer. What do you believe? Do you believe in evolution or what?
I don't believe in evolution the way they tell us now.
What do you believe in?
I think that we've been lied to a ridiculous extent. Just like, this, I guess you're not talking about the flat earth and all that, but, it's impossible to go with any part of the evolution what they've told us because, I personally know all about flying. They're saying the earth is flat and all the pilots are saying it's flat. And that's not true because I have many pilots in the family and I know that would mean tens of hundreds of thousands of men would not have told their wife or their son before they died that, hey, it's a flat earth. That's a game changer. That's a life changer. And then they're pulling out like 10, 20, maybe even 100 pilots. And that's like not even that's a hair, like nothing. That's not even a needle in a haystack. That's like nothing. And they're old. They could, that's just a few men. So it's very confusing. And they want me to believe that my father and all the people I know, Jets, they all lied to us and they died on their deathbed lying to us. That's not really human. That's inhuman. I mean, us as men, I know we would tell our son, we would tell our wife before we died. And that's just the only problem I really have with that whole part of evolution is really hit to an end now. I'm done.
All right, I didn't really hear what you like. I got you. I just don't really hear y'all answer the question for real.
Maybe I don't understand it. I'm sorry.
I got you. Did anybody else want to speak on this topic? No? Yeah, the thing is that I guess if you how do you think I'm just gonna ask you a specific question, Mighty. Like, how do you specifically think that your people got on the planet when y'all don't share genetics or biology with the planet? That's the only thing I'm just trying to ask y'all because
what's my people?
I can hear like a lack of magnetism in the voice, but are you a BLK man by chance?
Actually, I am my I am. I'm of olive skin. I am from. I'm the first born American on this dirt. I'm the first born American, but my ancestry is definitely an old ancestry of color. and I'm from Jacksonville. I mean, I'm not black, but I'm definitely brown.
Okay, so chat, y'all see how y'all see how we ask these people and they do not give us the answer?
Well, what do you want me to say? I
No,
don't
I'm
need. I
asking the
get
chat
offended by
something. Hold on
labels.
for
I
a
think
second.
they're
I'm
kind of
asking the
silly.
chat
It's kind of
something. I'm asking the chat something because we've been live for like 3 hours. And this is gene expression. I asked you if you were so-called BLK and you said something about you're not black. You said you mentioned that one of your parents was, I think you said it was your father. Then you said olive skin tone. Then you said I'm not black, but I am brown, but you insinuated that you were black to begin with. So
no, I
it's
don't think anybody's black. I never use that word black.
right,
You
and I
know,
said so-called.
well, you're all into labels. You know, I mean, I don't. I look at all people and I see all different colors of shades, and I see different colors of brown. And I don't know. I think you're labeling, and I think
So you're
it's an
labeling us
unevolved
with
mind.
colors though.
I think you're stuck. Something that doesn't really matter. In another 20 years, this whole subject won't matter.
So then why
And
request
look,
up to talk
what's that?
about it? Why request up to talk about it?
Well, I was just listening to you, and I just thought I'd say that.
But it doesn't matter to you, right?
And when you do get an evolved mind, you get past this, and you're doing successful, you won't even be talking about race or what color are you, what
I'm not talking
label,
about race. I've been talking about DNA and genetics for 3 hours. Y'all come
You're
in here and
talking.
make
You
it
know what
about
you're
race.
saying. You're saying you're
Wait,
trying to be
do you think
insulting. You're
people
being, if
who are white are
it was the
different
other
from
way
people who are
around,
black?
that's irrelevant. I could sit here and say the same thing. It doesn't matter, man. What does
So
what?
you're saying that you don't think anybody is black, but then you mentioned that you see color.
No. All sorts of shades of brown. It's just like you say.
What makes that brown present the way that it presents, considering that a Dravidian looks nothing like me? That's genetics, right? That's
So I'm just
biochemistry.
Yeah, well, it depends also on where you live in the country. I mean, there's different kinds of dark brown and blacks all over the world, and then you'll say Mother Africa, for instance.
Okay, what I said was you're saying that there are different shades of brown, and I'm telling you that the reason why they are different is because of the genetics. So I was never discussing race. That's why I asked you who were you? Were you so-called BLK? That's because we're on a phone and I can't physically see you, right? So that was just for the sake of the conversation. Other than that, the live has been about genetics, biology, and DNA. So if you don't believe in evolution or God, or you don't really believe in anything and it's not going to matter in 20 years, do you have anything else to say in this conversation? He left. Okay, I got you. So anybody else want to add to the discussion? Dean, were you
willing
asking a
to hop
question?
back into it. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, do you think that people of the white, I don't know, can I say that on TikTok? Like the
I would
different
say
races and
white. I
stuff?
would say YT. I would use the
Okay,
TikTok
okay.
only.
Yeah. So do you think people who are YT are different from people or genetically different? Well, okay, if you do, how different are they from YT people from BLK people?
So when it comes to everybody outside of us, they are a different species. They have a
Like when
different
you're saying us,
embryology.
like, what do you mean by us?
You said that you were a BLK man, right?
Yeah. Oh, so that's what you mean. Like,
Yeah.
so people who are YT are a different species?
Everybody outside of us is a different species.
What peer-reviewed paper do you have for that?
Dr. Richard King, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, Dr. N.C. Brown, Dr. T. Owens Moore, Dr. Layla Africa,
Paper.
Dr. Ellis.
Like, what do you have any
Yeah,
like
these
notes
doctors
or
also write papers, don't they? And they write books too. And I'm
what?
sitting next to them. So
What
don't
kind of
ask me.
doctors are they?
Okay. Thanks for playing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't ask me for something and then cut me off while I'm giving it to you. Doctors write papers, and I'm sitting next to their books. They write articles. They have research papers. Okay, so why ask me for something and then overtalk me while I'm giving it to you? Dr. Ella Al-Shamaha, Dr. John D. Biggerstaff, Jack Cruz or David Cruz, David Wilcott, who else? Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. Trying to think, there's another guy. I can't think of his first name. His name is like Hercule. Oh yeah, Dr. Susanna Herculano. I mean, they're saying that we're not the same species genetically. We don't have the same embryonic origin. Dr. Layla Africa has a 60-page book that just goes through from micro to macrocosm, the whole anatomy and how it's different from us and YT people. Their biochemistry, their melanin classification, how they have the lowest melanin classification, but the medical standard is a middle-aged YT man. These people have the lowest melanin classification, but the amount of minerals, the amount of vitamins, the amount of nutrition that's needed for the body is based off of him. I don't understand why you need a paper to prove that you are genetically different from an organism that you can see phenotypically looks nothing like you. I don't understand that. Your phenotype is expressing your genes, right? So if these people are not expressing their DNA like you, how would they have the same genetics? All right, so I don't know if 918 Indian, if you have anything else to say, or DJ Sice, if y'all have anything to say. I think the brothers might be asleep or something. They haven't said nothing in a while. Yeah, facts. Thanks for playing. You see what I'm saying? All right, y'all. If nobody else wants to come up and discuss the live, I am going to head out. We were live for 3 hours and 7 minutes, and it was a pretty good live. Let's see. Like, the only two people in the request are people that we've already debunked today or have talked to. And Ghost Boy Beats, you requested up a few times on the panel, but I didn't get to talk to you, I don't think. You've sat here, I know, for at least an hour or two, and you're still at the end of it saying that we're the same. So I'm going to chalk that up to cognitive dissonance. You're saying, can I send Batman an invite? Oh, Batman. I can't send Batman an invite because he doesn't have enough followers to come up here. You're saying a 60-page book, but it's written by a doctor. Like, what do you mean? It's a book about melanin, so it's 60 pages about melanin. And I didn't just name that book. I have several books. I have like 20, 30 pages on my main page. I also named Rupert Sheldrake, which is like a 600-page book. Why Darkness Matters is like a 200-page book. Melanin, A Key to Freedom is like a 80 or 181-page book. Becoming Supernatural is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. That's a book about the brain. That's also going to tell you about morphology and morphogenic fields and the heart rate visibility and how that is measured and how it is connected and explained through geophysics. I'm also sitting next to Anatomy, Physiology, Neuroscience, Genetics, Biology for Dummies, which are all written by doctors. Dr. Susan Shumsky is also another one I'll throw out there. David Icke is another one that I'll mention. Like, you're saying 60 pages, but what if those 60 pages are valuable information? So a book has to be over what? How many pages in order for it to be considered credible? Like, what the fuck? Are you 4? Like, what the fuck? Like, there's 60 pages worth of valuable information that was published, and nothing in his book has been debunked by any of your scientists. As a matter of fact, they use his work. A lot of your scientists, Tara, have backed up the brother that I'm talking about. Okay, that was an accident. Yeah. So, I don't know, y'all. I think we've debunked everybody for today. We've talked to everybody for today. You see what I'm saying? Batman says, my problem is when science can't answer something, people just automatically assume God or something. That's true. But I don't think everything that you're saying is true, though. Yeah, the Mexicans are not us because they have it. I don't know if that person is or not. I can't really see from my perspective, but I just seen somebody say something about Mexicans. Mexicans are genetically and biochemically not us because they have a different melanin classification, and they got on this planet through a different process outside of biogenesis. They're a byproduct of us mixing with these other people. So they're the newest species on this planet, and they're no shade, but if these people aren't supposed to be on the planet and you're a byproduct of us involuntary mixing with them through grape, y'all are really not supposed to be here. Because these people were never supposed to gain the ability to reproduce. They came out of the caves unable to reproduce, unable to talk, unable to speak, talk, reproduce. They were on all fours with hypertrichosis and vestigial tails. The fact when people say, oh, we can procreate blows me every time because they were never supposed to gain bipedalism. All right. So this is the reason why, in my experience, I'm not saying that this is the case across the board, but I know a lot of people that consider themselves to be mixed or biracial, like specifically YT mother and BLK father. And a lot of those people look Mexican. They don't look YT or BLK. They look Mexican. And depending on where you are, where you grew up, is the title that they force on everybody or the ethnic group that they force on everybody. The truth is that there are genetic and biological strangers on this planet. So nothing that I say is HATE or anything like that. It's just the sun, the earth does not know these people or these organisms, right? There's unnatural microorganisms, there's unnatural plants, there's unnatural insects. And when it comes to people, there are people here that are here unnaturally. I really encourage y'all to look into the science because I'm not the one that's just saying this. Scientists put out this information every single day and have been for decades. Delbert Blair was talking the same kind of talk, hosting his own, you know what I'm saying, like sit-ins, his little seminars. Dr. Layla Africa did the same thing. Sister Dr. Myra Moss. I forgot to mention Dr. Deborah, I can't think of her last name, Deborah Moore. Yeah, Dr. Jewel Pookrum. You see what I'm saying? These are all scientists that know that we're not genetically and biologically the same. And their work is published. And it has been peer reviewed. They have books. Right? I talk about it all the time. When Joe Biden was in office, there was the leader of his Secretary Committee of Department of Justice or something like that, or I can't remember what it is, but the leader of that group for Joe Biden, her name is Kristen Clark. It's a so-called black woman, right? And she basically used Dr. Richard King's work about how we're genetically not the same to basically prove the reason why we're undergoing injustice in this country. And she was the leader for Joe Biden's committee. And Carol Barnes is a YT lady that backed up what she was saying and what Dr. Richard King had already said. A lot of YT and Asian scientists will tell you we're not the same. Dr. Ella Al-Shamaha just came out like a month or so ago saying that our people, our DNA is connected to an entirely different species that's never been seen here. David Icke said the same thing. Or David Wilcock said the same thing with the story of Simeon Toko. So let's see.
God damn.
Did you mean to request that, brother?
No, I'm sorry. I love your show. I just been listening to it. How
Okay.
could I? How could I ever? Like, when do you come on?
Whenever. I don't have a set time, but gratitude for saying that. I'm glad that you're finding the discussion helpful.
Man, I love it. I mean, when I turned to it, I was like, oh wow. And then you start talking, I was like, oh my God, because I've been thinking this, but I had no proof. But I just wrote down your title, the evolution of evolution, the biggest lie ever told. I'm gonna try to pull that up so I can listen to it and see what's going on.
For sure. My YouTube, I post them a good grip of these on my YouTube so people can replay it back either in case they missed it or they want to hear something again. Some of the YouTube videos also have sources put in them, so as I'm talking, you can see the captions, kind of like my mind, what I was thinking as I was talking about this, or the actual source that corresponds to what I'm saying, whether it's a book excerpt or a peer-reviewed journal or a picture for reference if it's a genetic mutation or something like that being talked about. I don't do them on every video, but I've done them on like a good 4 or 5 that are like 3-4 hours long. So there's that. There's definitely it.
So I just when I go on YouTube, I look for your name here.
You can go on YouTube and you can actually, my YouTube is Diviner of Stars 555. It's posted in my bio. So if you want to just check this page, you can just go there for it. This is also just one of my other accounts. I have a main page as well. That's also in there as well. I have had other pages in the past that TikTok has taken down. So you'll when you see the page, you're gonna see like it's a new page, like a fresh page, a new fresh TikTok page. But this is like my 4th account. So yeah.
Okay. Why they keep taking you down?
The trigger words when people come in here and they say KILLLDIE, things like that, I get the strike for it. And 3 strikes on the account, they take it. Another reason is because of the content that I talk about is sensitive. TikTok doesn't like it. So they censor it and give account strikes for that as well.
Okay. Wow, man, I'm just glad I ran into this show, man. It's beautiful. I mean, wow, it's everything that you answered a lot of answers, a lot of questions that I've been questioning about it. Because I've been telling people they don't belong on the planet.
Yeah, they don't. And having the science is really what will help put it into perspective, because like people try to not use science, but that's with us choosing the language that we're choosing right now, and our perspective of the world for where we are right now is the only way that we can that's the only way we can articulate this.
Right.
So I think it's the best thing. And yeah, the sun is fixing that. The sun is actually causing double strand breaks within their DNA and causing the nucleus of their cells to be removed, because UV radiation has been ground level since 2015. And scientists are saying it's a gene mutating, germ unaliving, and detoxifying wavelength. And as a result, thousands, millions of these people have been getting off the planet. That's why we see what's happening in Europe right now by the thousands. 140 million of them are being affected by wildfires. I know it has to be 100,000 plus people that are unalived because of the sun. They were reporting up to 60,000 and then they stopped reporting after that. But if 140 million are affected by the wildfires that are triggered by the sun, that number has got to be off the charts by now, because in India, they've lost count with the Dravidians. They've been the Asians, the Dravidians, all these people have been struggling for years with the sun. And it's really just now catching up to all of them, where we're seeing them by the masses just leave, get off the planet. See what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. But I'm glad I heard this, man. I wish I could hear your show every night. That's why I followed you. You know, should I join, and then I could every time you come on, I'll see you.
When you come on the like, if you follow me, it should send you a notification that I'm live. But I don't go live every day and stuff like that.
But when the
So
next time you're gonna be live?
I don't know. I don't never know. Just whenever I feel like it, whenever the energy permits for me to go live, then that's when I do. It's at random. But I got y'all. Gratitude for saying that, my brother. Let me say this. Does anybody, I'm taking last minute, does anybody have anything else they want to come in here and say? I'm gonna allow one more person up here to, if they want to debate using science, I will allow that, but no over talking. Like, please don't over talk me. You know what I'm saying? Have respect, allow me to respond. But if anybody wants to request up, they can. Is Dean still in here? Is he trying to request up, or what? He's saying he's black. But yeah. Yeah. How did they let Dean up here with only 5 followers? It's interesting. You don't have to prove to us that you're so-called black. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that you are pushing a YT narrative and you don't understand how you're genetically different than them. So it is proven by doctors that when you feed your neuromelanin like a Caucasian, you become neuromelanin deficient. It goes against your genetic expression and it causes a slow flow of neuromelanin, which makes you illiterate, which is a breeding place for disease. All right, so we actually need sunlight and we need stimulating activities like reading. You see what I'm saying? I don't recommend reading from the phone. I recommend getting paperback books, especially now, because the AI companies are responsible for actually destroying books right now. The AI companies are tearing books apart and trying to wipe them out of existence to introduce AI. So, you know, I spent the top of my rising, it's a new day today, but yesterday I spent the top of my rising. I didn't even grab my phone and I spent like 2.5 hours reading. My brain was stimulated for the day. This is me going live. Like, when did I start? About 3 hours ago. That was pretty much the first time that I was just like I've been on my phone, like on my phone all day. If you can do it, go 7 days without your phone. I did, and I really didn't want to come back to the phone. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really miss it or anything. My brain felt clear. Like, after the 3rd day of no phones, your brain is going to feel extremely clear. Even though I don't eat meat, processed sugars, foods, I didn't even think that my brain could even operate at a more optimal speed than that, removing the phones is you're gonna really see how much it actually affects, you know what I'm saying, the way that your brain functions and how you communicate, or excuse me, interact with your environment and things like that. So yeah, somebody said, do I be exhausted after? Nah, not after reading. I be exhausted while being on the phones. The phones literally take the energy for real. That's why a lot of the times when I'm live for like around the 2 hour mark, you start hearing me kind of misspeak, say the wrong word. Sometimes I misspeak and give you the right explanation for the wrong word, or the wrong word, right explanation. So, and I know somebody else that used to go live about this topic a lot too. And he said around the 2 hour mark, he genuinely has to get off the phone because it's two straight hours of talking and being on the phone is like, you got to go outside after that, you know? So, all right, y'all. Dean, I will put you on YouTube, and I hope you're ready for that secondhand embarrassment though, because when you hear yourself actually say the things that you said, you're gonna be like, damn, why did I say that? Because that's how we felt in the chat, and that's how I felt listening to you. You said that I was wrong about things and then explained, like, prove my point. So I'll be putting you on YouTube. It's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? We'll be seeing how you didn't know exactly what you were talking about. We'll see that. It's okay. Come back better the next time. When you come back next time, explain it better. All right, if nothing else, y'all, gratitude for everybody pulling up. You see what I'm saying? You can type in Skywatcher and I should still come up, but this is my YouTube, Diviner of Stars 555. That's the YouTube. All right. Yep, gratitude to you. Yep, gratitude. Make sure we're studying our neuromelanin, okay? That's what's really going to help you connect the dots, because I can let you know this for sure, that if you just listen to the lives for over time, you're not going to get it. Because a lot of people that's been listening to me for 2 years are still asking me 2+2 type questions in my DMs, and I have to tell them, go study. Because if you've been listening to me for 2-3 years straight and you don't understand that, then you got to look at it so you can help you grasp it. You know what I'm saying? What PDF and VPN do you recommend? When it comes to PDFs, so I basically just use the main VPNs that I use are the UK, Netherlands, Russia, and Canada. Netherlands, Russia, UK, and Canada. And then I also jump around on the VPN servers throughout all the 50 states. So when I lived in Texas, I used to remote in through Nebraska. Or if I'm in the Midwest, then I'll remote in through Virginia. When you switch your servers, you're going to see how much they switch the narrative. If you have like a laptop and you have your phone, have one of them on the American server and put one of them on a Russian server. Type the same thing in, and you're going to see it's going to say two different things. But Russian server is going to actually have peer-reviewed articles. You see what I'm saying? It's going to show you everything on that first search engine that comes up, that first result page everything is gonna be doctors, peer review articles, research journals. It's a different ball game when you go to a different country. All right. Let's see. Oh, Dean is up here. Oh, he was already in the request box this whole time.
He's running a lot of hoops. Does that change what your O-line
Yeah,
has to do?
Natasha, did you mean to request that?
Not necessarily. The movement across the
I
ball.
think it might have been an X. Wait, did you mean to request that?
No, I didn't. I got too much background, but I love you to pieces. I found you. This is my new page. I found you, and I appreciate you. Oh my God, I'm going off in these comments. These people is crazy in denial. You have proof. You have backup. You have science backing it, and they still deny, deny, deny. Thank you. I will follow you on every platform I can find you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Facts. Gratitude, my sister. All right, so okay, I got you. I got you. A bet. I can't really see, but I already said what I said, so I do the best that I can. But if you standing on business in the comment, then keep doing it. Welcome in, Drew. Gratitude. Dean is asking me where do I go for peer reviewed studies when I just said it. She literally just asked me, and I'm responding. So look, I'm not really finna do this
You
with
said
you.
no. I mean, like, do you have like a site or something that you like? You know?
ResearchGate.
Okay. Okay.
What is your final thoughts to add to this conversation? What is if I were to
I
give
don't.
you one question to ask or one thing to state before I end this live, what would you say?
Just any statement I can just say. I can't turn on my camera. I got my biggest hater in the chat right now. But
It needs to
my
be about
statement
the
would be
prompt.
like, I think I cut out or something.
Do you want to say anything or no?
Sorry. I thought I cut out or something. Okay. Yeah, I just want to say evolution is real, very well substantiated by thousands of peer-reviewed studies. If you go on Google Scholar and you type in evolution, it literally thousands of peer-reviewed study. A lot of them you have to pay for, but if you do that, you literally see like thousands of results, hundreds of results, and leading to thousands of more studies, peer-reviewed notes, journals. If you're ever interested in that type of stuff. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, if that's all that you wanted to say, cool. I mean, I've done my research, and when you asked me for my research, I gave it to you and you discredited it immediately. Now you're coming up here telling me to go do research from other people that you didn't bring the evidence for it. So I got you. That was your final statement. Thanks for playing. Thanks for sharing that. If nothing else, y'all, gratitude and abundance for sharing. Keep learning your DNA. Keep learning about yourself. And when you have a question, ask yourself first. Ask the universe first before you ask somebody else. Make sure that you're sitting down with yourself enough because the phones are getting ready to go. All right. This grid is getting weaker and weaker by the day. And that's a clear indication that we need to be strengthening our minds more every single day. All right.